in and like kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening the refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren.
They're utter shits. They're utter shits.
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement. Which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys.
You gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
They're utter shits.
When we got the descriptions, they were very adamant. They were like, try not to make it like a white blonde guy. Like, please, like, we love him, but there's like 500 million of them.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
Lube for their rectal adventures.
What's this?
What's this? It's the jacket.
The jacket.
The jacket.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town.
One girl said she liked big burly orcs with breeding kinks. Okay, I'll just choose the orc boyfriend for her then.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
Great, Sam. We dumping chump. It's a landslide, sir.
On guard.
Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis!
It's time to mobilize. Let's go.
A giant penis.
Double zeros, baby!
No rectal adventures here. All above board. PG rated.
Is that the whole finger there, Doc?
DB for 5. Your Dog Brothers and Sword Sisters time once again to get your skull smack-a-lacking on. Hope everyone's having a great week. Let's do this. Indeed, my friend. Good to see you here live. See, the usual suspects are here. Snake Oil, Sean, Ryan, Shark. Hope your eye is doing well.
Ooh.
Shark had a little eye surgery.
Oh, hope it went well.
It's routine as far as these things go.
All the better to see you with Double D.
That's right. That's right. I believe we can call him Pirate Shark, at least because I think
Dear Pirate Cat.
He told me they stagger it, so he's probably wearing an eye patch right now.
Yeah, Dear Pirate Shark.
All right, what's your favorite magic weapon? Crazy Mouse wants to know.
Bring it on.
Is it the Vorpal Sword plus 5, the Mace of Annihilation? Something in between, perhaps? Maybe just a +1 dagger. Pirate Shark, yeah. All right, so let me see here. You guys know Mr. Beast, right?
Oh, yeah.
He does all these crazy challenges. Kind of inspired the thumbnail for today's video. We're going to do our little warm-up video. He put out there, what if 100 men took on one gorilla? Did you see this?
I did see something about it.
Well, somebody made an AI of it, which is really cool. So here we go. like Mighty Joe Young.
This is what you're waiting for. I think we're ready to rock.
That about sums it up.
Oh no.
I think we're ready to rock.
Joe Young.
I like it. It's Murab Joe. Who wins, fellas? Who wins? 100 men versus one.
That was the only thing. That wasn't 100 average men.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
And
well, let's assume even they get like athletic types. So let's say 100 above average men.
And I don't want to hear any whiners like, why couldn't there been a woman? Like,
Yeah.
they'd be wearing those red shirts from like Star Trek.
Yeah,
Is-
yeah,
what-
yeah.
Is that the right color?
Yes.
Red when they
yeah,
all
red
get
shirts.
eliminated?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. They'd be. Well, they wouldn't even take place. They'd be, if they were smart, they'd run. Yeah, Ryan Nicolai, Gorilla or King Kong. Actually, kind of in between. Mighty Joe Young, I think. That was a very big gorilla. But I got to think that at some point the men would just overpower. I mean, it's kind of like D&D. You can only get a certain number of people around an opponent.
Right.
Like there's only like 5 or 6 maybe that can do good work. I
look at it a little bit differently. What would motivate men to do this, number one? And how many men are willing to go in there and be the first 25 to get slaughtered until the gorilla slows down?
Well, it's the same mentality of like war, like World War I. Who's going over the top first?
Yeah,
You know, those are the ones that are going to die. So you just get people. There's people out there that are just built differently, I think, than us. You know,
That
they're
is
just
true.
like they don't care.
Right. Yeah, where do you just go to the mall and pick out 50 men from the mall? That gorilla's going to win.
Right.
But yeah. If it's just 50 random people on the street,
100.
Let's gather all these boys.
We
out
keep
there.
saying 50, 100. It's 100.
it's because the guys were wearing 50 on their shirts.
Well, they were all numbered.
Oh, really? Were they all? I thought
They all had their own number.
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess I just saw the
Am I only
50
one
guy.
to watch this video?
Oh, did you see that?
I did.
Did you see that?
250s.
250s.
Trixie.
Okay. I'm just saying. Occasionally, I am correct. Yeah, I thought there was an AI glitch because that's something AI would do. It would put like the same number on
And probably the same guy.
yeah, too.
6 Andre the Giants, and he'd be toast. Yeah.
No, Andre tires out. You ever hear those stories about him wrestling and like when he would be leaning on an opponent in the corner of the ring, he would tell like Jake the Snake Roberts it's because he's just so tired. Andre the Giant, as strong as he is,
In his prime.
Yeah, maybe in the 70s he might have fared better. Yeah, but that would be interesting. Yeah.
Chris Miller says if one gorilla could take out 100 men, how do you explain the poor stats in D&D?
He's got a point, Chris.
Yeah. Exactly. 100 Super Geek mics. No chance.
It'd be a bloodbath.
No chance. Unless they just drop their knees and start sucking away. One gorilla versus the mountain. Yeah.
Mountain lost to the Red Viper. So.
Yeah. I mean, technically he won, but yeah, he kind of did lose.
But that was finesse over force.
That's true. Yeah, this would be force on force, so you never know.
And a little dose of
He might do better in that situation. I showed you like the miniature of the mountain from the Song of Ice and Fire game. How big it is. Oof. Enormous. All right. Well, hopefully that got you going. Yeah. He really went downhill from like the mid 80s on. Yeah, he was a shadow of his former self. But
maybe one of those. You'd have to, out of the 100 men, and they're not average. You know, like we're already cheating for the men already, being like, oh, they have to be above average men. Well, what's above average? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could do something with like weight and like body, like BMI maybe,
or just go how Rogan says, 100 people at the fucking mall. Let's go. You.
I mean, it's got to be based on an average. They're just saying a gorilla.
Yeah.
And
if it's just an average gorilla, then yeah, I suppose it's only fair to take an average, the average number of dudes. Oof.
And he would just rip them apart.
No, let's give him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine?
What's
like
what's average? 5'8"?
Yeah, 5'7", 5'8", one. Well, I mean, nowadays they might be a little overweight, but there's like there's no muscle.
Thank you. You're making it even more my point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and a little obese.
Yeah. No muscle tone, really. Yeah. Double D, brought to you by Carl's Jr. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
Give that gorilla some spike gauntlets.
Yeah.
Let there be blood.
All right, so I'll show you. I just need a moment here. Actually, no, you know what? I think I can probably do this.
One was wearing number 117, so there's many cheaters. Says Michael. Says
Was it
Michael
really?
Rose.
Yeah, exactly.
no.
Yeah, there you go.
They brought in some extras. And when the gorilla punched that dude in the face, that guy dies instantly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no. Yeah, like your neck is.
He would eliminate, like Rogan says, the gorilla would realistically eliminate 20 to 25 in just a couple swings.
And that would, I think that would be healthier guys, not the soy boys or the skinny jean guys.
And those would be the guys up front. So, you know, are these average men average intelligence? Are they even planning this out? And how much do you have to plan? Or are you just taking these 100 dudes, throwing them in an arena, or they're like, it's 100 versus 1 tomorrow, and you can start planning this out, or are you just throwing them right in there? Let's do this.
Fascinating.
There's a lot of angles on this.
That's why I put it up there. It seems to have caught the zeitgeist for a couple of weeks on the internet. So
see, there's a lot of cool magic items people are dropping.
Ooh, Sword of Life from Riffs. Nice, Jeffram. Do you mean good value, like monetarily?
But Dino says, nice hat.
Oh, thank you. Yep. Got that online. Got to represent.
Chris Miller says, if gorillas are so great, then why did we take over the world?
This is true. This is true. All right. Well, we can let that simmer, I guess, for a little bit.
That's the whole show.
Yeah, figured I'd give you a little bit of RPG news. So today we have a couple different things. Of course, we got Garibay and his magnum opus video series. I don't know if we're going to get to all of it, but he is really, really getting out there, as they say, like out there. We got some McKenzie DeArmas being introduced to the world via interview with Todd Kenrick. Then we may talk about the forbidden topic of race. Yes, we'll
like the Indy 500.
Other kind.
Oh.
Other kind. Yeah, a very curious incident happened this week that is sort of. I don't know. It's kind of like making things come to a head, I think. So it's certainly worth talking about. I'm sure everybody here is going to be cool and respectful, and I think we can talk about it in a very, let's just say, above board manner. But first,
Chris Miller's saying hit that like button.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
Over 100 and watching.
Listen to Chris. He knows his shit.
This is Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. As Patrick Swayze said in Red Dawn, never heard of them. But guess what? They're not coming to Gen Con this year. We made a tough decision this week. We're not bringing any staff from the UK to Gen Con 2025. Here's the reason. Crossing the border into the US simply isn't safe for us at the moment. And it doesn't appear to be getting any safer. Like a lot of international business stuff around conventions, manufacturing, shipping, these decisions are made months in advance. We're months into preparing for Gen Con, and we need to act now. So we're not facing the chance and the costs of huge last-minute disruption. What are they talking about? Thanks to our friends in the U.S., we'll still have a presence at the show. All right, who cares? What we won't have is our events schedule. Okay. Hard to believe it has come to this, but it has. We aren't the first to make this decision. We suspect we won't be the last either. The political climate is only getting worse. While the odds of most of us encountering resistance at border control are low, we don't want to risk running the biggest convention of the year without the members of the staff we need, because they've been detained, deported, or otherwise penalized for their beliefs or who they are. This is insanity. Utter insanity. Need control here for a moment.
Okay.
Crazy Mouse. Now, the funniest thing are some of these comments. Now, I told you guys last year when Rogan and I went to Gen Con that what I was seeing is just kind of like a lot of normie gamers, guys who just wanted to game. Sure, there was like, excuse me, I guess my throat was parched. Of course, there were, a handful of troons and, weirdos and that, but pretty much everybody just looked kind of normal, which was very refreshing. So these are the comments on the fans of Gen Con group. I'm really thankful for this post. It's helpful to see folks you absolutely do not want to interact or game with because of a complete lack of empathy. I'm concerned about the scary right-wing shift in this group. So it looks like people in this group are not afraid to call these people what they are, which is pussies. There's no threat for you coming into the U.S. as a tourist. If you're going to come illegally over the border, that's one thing. If you're going to come into an airport where these people are obviously going to be flying in, they're going to be going through customs. So it's really just virtue signaling. Yeah, I really appreciate all the people in this thread who are saying, LOL, it isn't that bad, or LOL, just don't do anything illegal, which is exactly what you should be saying. But of course, Ryan Evans here is hysterical. Like, do you all think that matters to a group run by verifiable, horrible human beings carrying out fascist tactics? Here we go again. We see it every week. These people are delusional. That's right, Gen Con fans. Mock and berate people who aren't coming to Gen Con because they feel unsafe. That'll make them feel safer. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hey, it's they desire not to show up, and they have the reason. Okay, whatever. Good riddance.
Yeah, absolutely good riddance. I never heard of them. I don't know who these people are. So obviously, yeah, pointyhat.games is you limey panty waist, says Patrick Demo. Check. Yeah, as we get closer, I will promote you there, Patrick. As always, good to see you, buddy. Mac for $4.99. I'm not going to Gen Con because it's full of lame, woke weirdos. Some, like I said, you heard a lot of them, by inference there. I didn't want to go through the whole thread, but my wife was actually, Mrs. D, she said, hey, you may like this thread. She's like, there's a bunch of people calling these people like pussies and stuff like that, and they're getting a lot of hell for it. So it's good to see that pushback. Last good Gen Con I went to, we went to the Safe House afterwards for dinner and drinks. If you know, you know. Yeah, that must have been up in Milwaukee a little bit before we started going Badger. Unfortunately, yeah, we got that one. I got that one above that, right? Crazy Mouse.
Which one?
Yep.
The $4.99.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Lame woke weirdos. Okay, we all caught up.
Well, you're not now. You're not.
Dang.
Ooh.
I'm Johnny Bench. No runs, no drips, no errors.
If you know, you know. Almighty 377 for $10. Thank you, sir. Hey, Double D, my wife looked up a silverback gorilla can deadlift over 1,700 pounds. Ouch. I like the mountain, but yeah, you may be right.
Yeah, without his sword, he's not going to do anything to that gorilla then.
Yeah, they could probably just rip. Even like if you've ever seen like an orangutan at the zoo, like even though they're, fairly docile creatures, sometimes you look at them and their arms and just what they could do. They look like they could just kind of rip you apart, not even...
Well, they do rip people apart. They rip their face off that lady.
Yeah, I think that was I think that's more like chimpanzees do that.
Is a orangutan above a chimp?
Yeah. Orangutans are the ones that are kind of like most human-like. They kind of like have like emotions and
They
stuff
look like they're
that.
meditating.
Yeah, they're really cool creatures. But in the same respect, chimps I think are the ones that like go to town on people's faces because they're
stupid chimps.
Yeah, this guy's got $10, even though it's Canadian.
Little footballs.
Laces out.
Laces out. Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea. $10 Canadian from Craig Bragg. Hey, Double D and crew. I'm not going to Gen Con, but I'm... you're hoping to make it to the Central New York Con in June. Excellent. If the stars align, I'd like to playtest my superhero TTRPG. Y'all are invited, of course. If it works out in the schedule, I'm running a game there, and I'm playing in Greg's game. In fact, I'm in the events listing if you want to see. I think my game is like Saturday at 6 on in the Central New York game. So I kind of submitted it late, so I think there's only a couple in there. So I think there is spots. Origins. Ooh, yeah, just before COVID. Very disappointed. Uh-oh. Full on woke. Oh boy, and the TDS was palpable. I'll let you know. I'm going with Mrs. D and Daughter D. I vowed never to return. We'll see. We shall see. A lot of people hear the same thing about Gen Con too. And like I said, I think Gen Con promoted somebody like a woman. I think there's just like a general grumbling about just ineptitude as far as that goes. But like I said, last year, it wasn't, I don't know. How do you think, Rogan? I mean, you were there.
It wasn't crazy.
It wasn't crazy.
There was no one protesting anything that I recognized, and no one losing their shit about X buttons and stuff like that.
It was before the election. I don't think we saw one Harris Waltz like thing.
Right.
Just a lot of you can look. You've been around this game long enough. You can tell kind of the normies, and then the blue hairs, and then just kind of like the super geeks and all that. Yeah, there was a couple of blue hairs and stuff, but other than that, it was just pretty much a bunch of normies.
Food was good.
Yeah,
the food trucks and stuff like that. That was good.
Gen Con's problem is they're allowing in too many people. They're so greedy at Gen Con now. They need to cut it back. I think they top it at 80,000 every year, and the vendor hall is insufferable. You can barely move. It's just they gotta cut it down by 10,000. Cap it at 70.
Yeah, I am like me. I am like them. They're like me.
Yeah.
I am like them.
Rogan's mantra as he's bumping into people and just getting angrier by the second.
The lack of politeness is insanity.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I was kind of going there expecting the worst, and it was okay. The one thing I was surprised, a lot of troons there. Wouldn't you agree? We saw quite a few troons. Let's put it this way. I saw more troons than I did black people. Like brothers and sisters. All of them together were dwarfed by the number of troons. But keep in mind, even then, it was probably maybe 20 to 30. Out of 80,000.
Yeah, with that many people, statistically we should run it a whole lot more if there was a whole lot more.
Yep. Well, Charlie, why ain't you going? It's going to be fun. Get to see me and Mrs. D and Greg Gillespie and some others too. Roger Rebish, who I'm sure might be lurking.
Titties and Beer keep asking, is it on the West Coast? It's that's the one in Central New York.
Yeah, it's like an hour outside of Cooperstown. I'm not sure. It's It's like Hampton or Hampshire. I don't know the town, but just look up.
Or Titties and Beer. If you're talking about Gen Con, that's in Indianapolis.
Indy. Yep.
I love that city.
Yeah, Indy's a cool city. Say what you want about it. If you like Gen Con, don't like Gen Con, that's fine. I really do like Indy. All right.
I've had the good fortune to have some pretty interesting cab drivers.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. What food do you have to have when you get a craving for it? I don't know. For me, lately it's just been McDonald's. You know, I've been craving McDonald's a lot.
I'm interested in McDonald's new chicken strips.
Oh yeah, you know what? Me too.
I haven't had them yet.
The McCrispy ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to get those with like the sweet and sour sauce. Bueno. Jeff from Denkar, $2 over on Rumble. Thank you, sir, for representing. 25 over on Rumble. Keep it up, guys.
Yep.
My next con is Anime North, Canada's largest fan-run convention. Does a ton of game stuff, too. Score RPGs every time you've gone before. Oh, cool. Well, happy hunting this year, Jeffrem. Let us know if you get anything good in your basket. Oh, goodies.
Put the lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket. All right. Stay away from McDonald's, but now and then a Big Mac is good. Yeah, I probably eat it a little too much, but I convinced myself I can do it because I do exercise now, probably at least 4 days a week. So I'm not gaining any weight, and
I haven't had a quarter pounder in a long time.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, but it probably is not good to eat that shit all the time. I understand. Oh boy, how long can we take
today?
this?
We have a very exciting Unearthed Arcana we are talking about.
There's our buddy Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is where he would normally be interviewing Chris Perkins, Jeremy Crawford, or
You've got ogres,
or that guy. Actually, I think that guy might still be there. Whatever, I can never remember his name. However, he is now forced to interview the likes of senior designer. Let that sink in for a moment. McKenzie DeArmas. This is, I'm not lying here. This is not hyperbole. This is one of the high ups in regards to running the D&D brand.
And also just a reminder of the feedback that we already got.
Yes. So we have gotten the survey results from both the Cartographer and the Artificer Revised surveys, as well as the survey about the Forgotten Realms subclasses. Again, we always really appreciate your feedback. It is always super, super helpful and influential. We were really excited to see the wide swath of feedback we got. It really helped shape things, and we were really excited to show you the final versions when they come out in their respective books later on this year.
We have a very horror-themed Unearthed Arcana for everyone at home. What's top of the list?
So, top of the list is actually a new subclass for the Artificer.
I am so excited for this.
It's one of those things for the Artificer where it fits the narrative of the Artificer so perfectly, but in a way that doesn't quite fit in like the Eberron setting.
Yeah.
So this is the Reanimator. This takes heavy inspiration from classics like Frankenstein. This is your raising animating corpses, raising things from the dead Artificer. This is stitching together flesh golems Artificer. The sort of crux of the subclass is this reanimated companion that you raise from the dead. And we wanted to play around with the idea of a companion that's very sort of modular and alterable, where because you are raising this from bits of flesh, you can stitch things on, take things off, alter what glands are in it, that sort of very disgusting process. So a lot of the features that you'll get as you sort of level up sort of enhance and develop this lovely reanimated flesh friend. The other thing that's fun about this reanimated companion is that because it is
What's that?
Isn't that a flesh golem, not a flesh friend? What the hell?
More or less, yeah. Senior designer, R.I.P. D&D, exactly, Patrick. Yeah. Well, this is
Made of dead flesh.
giving you, of course, the little bit of her
It has
her
the
thoughts, her
you
ramblings.
can make it explode.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just cause it to. It is a
Hates you
putrid sack
middle-aged
of
white
flesh.
guys.
Yeah.
And it can explode.
Perfect.
And then you just bring it back.
All right.
You also
A flesh friend.
get some fun fun spells, like all of our
Like you
artifice.
can go. You know how like when you have like a little kid and you go up to that Build-A-Bear,
Yes.
build a friend.
Well, Sally, what kind of glands you want in this one?
Do, as well as some fun interactions with revivification spells as well. There's some fun
Say that
interactions
3
with
times.
Spare the Dying, as well as like Revivify and Raise Dead, which I think is going to be super fun and kind of fits into this weird necromancy niche that this artificer kind of sits in.
right. I think our favorite friend from the schoolyard has something there.
Yep.
Crazy Mouse.
We got Julio.
Give him something.
We got you something.
Give him something.
Let's see here.
I love knowledge. Hey, Double D!
Hello, boyos.
Hola.
Hello to you, Julio. Meet you down by the
What's
schoolyard.
the next on the list?
And then next is a lovely returning friend, the College of Spirits for the Bard.
Right.
This first appeared in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and we have given it the lovely sort of glow up that all of our subclasses are getting as with the new.
What if you called her office and you wanted to talk to her and been like, "Could you go get your mom?"
No, really, I'd like to speak to the head game designer.
Yeah.
Not his daughter.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh, you are so adorable. Yeah, I need to talk to your mommy.
So the College of Spirits overall is meant to be this like a spirit medium, ghost channeling bard.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our improvements for the subclass really leaned into
Wouldn't that kind of go in the direction of a sorcerer kind of thing? You know, I mean,
I've heard a lot of these subclasses are really jacked up, like from the people.
This is a really good point right here.
Halaster. Yeah, member chat. Yeah, thank God I got into D&D when I did. If this is what I was introduced to, I would never have played. Yeah.
I mean, would that be legitimate for a lot of people?
Oh God, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, just think about the era we grew up in. Like, what would the kids that we went to high school with say? I mean, we had to keep it secret from them to begin with. But I mean, at least you could say like, "Oh, come on, man! It's if you kind of squint your eyes, it's kind of badass and really metal,
Right.
I mean, all right. So let me show you this. When you're showing your classmate this,
do you want to come over and play that?
Yeah.
The first thing they call you is.
Oh, he's gonna call you a fag.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sissy.
Yeah. It's just if you grew up in the 80s, that's what would have happened. There's no Crom wept, yeah. Yeah.
They'd be saying your name all around all the place. So and so invited me over to make cookies.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, so what do you guys do? Just sit around and, do really stupid shit and, suck each other off after?" No, but then you'd have to be like, "Well, no, I mean, there's really good." And how could you defend this though? Or the baking picture that we all know and love by now.
Right.
$1.99 Mac. Chat agrees. She's describing a necromancer. Yeah, I was kind of busy running the her comments through. But yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I watched the first couple minutes. I'm like, isn't this just a fucking necromancer? What, what? $4.99 hot dice. Call the friendly local neighborhood corpse defiler. You mean this guy?
What the fuck?
Felix Rojas, the suspect arrested for graping a man's dead body on a New York City subway train for 30 minutes, is an illegal alien who unlawfully crossed the border 5 times. Yes, this happened. A guy died on the subway. So this guy here went through his pockets and then
his pants.
Then have at it. Boy, I'm Johnny on the spot with these drops here. No one of consequence. There's even a dwarf baker in this pick as well.
Right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, count the number of just like normal white guys in here. Are there any?
And she has a lovely beard.
Yeah, God, yes.
This is what I'm like. How many? Let's count the horns on these people.
I mean, if you actually count straight up normal white guys, maybe one right there and maybe one right there.
I think that one you pointed at is an elf at first.
Right to here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess by the hair they're implying elf.
All right.
Yeah. Which to your point, Crazy Mouse, we'll count it.
And
We'll
then
count it.
maybe one right there.
See, I looked closer. I think that's a brother.
This guy here?
Yeah. The guy with the overalls on way
Yeah.
back there. I think he's a brother.
The first thing I thought of when I saw him was Victor French from Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, really? Oh boy, that's going back.
So then there's actually none.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, my hopes were pinned on the baker there, and of course they'd pick the weakest, spot for that. But yeah, I think that is just a dwarf.
Improving the subclass
What you gonna
overall
do?
and just sort of really even more pressing into that narrative of being a channeling those otherworldly spirits from beyond the veil.
Right.
So the majority of sort of improvements that you
Todd looks like he's just going through the motions. He's like, I can't believe I used to talk to my friends here. I'm sure he hung out with,
Do you think
Chris Perkins and maybe not
Right.
Jeremy, but I'm sure they were probably like kind of friends. And now he's forced to interview these little goblins.
will see in the subclass are all in the Spirits from Beyond table, formerly known as the Tales from Beyond table. We really wanted to make those tales easy to use, instantaneous, rewarding, and also really like fun and flavorful in terms of narrative, and like really leaning into these sort of archetypal ghosts, which is super fun. We've
Good point,
also,
Praxis.
as the subclass grows, you get a little bit more control over the tales that you can channel, so it's not entirely purely just based on random.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bleeker. Hey, good to see you, buddy. It's probably not that even. They just give her a wide berth. I bet you they limit their interactions with her. Very, very much so. And if they do have like a meeting, they probably want like plenty of like third parties there just to make sure she can't say that you said something that offended her. This is the kind of person that is holding America hostage right now. So you're just kind of like, yes, okay, McKenzie. You are the super duper brightest. You're awesome.
You have a little bit more control over them.
But the problem with that is if you keep doing that long enough, through attrition, you end up, I don't want to say in charge of D&D. She's not even close to being in charge of it yet, but she's climbing the ladder.
And we've given you a fun new 6th level feature that gives...
I should say this too. I think she just started playing D&D like 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, man.
She has the autistic paladin. Is this the one?
Yes, yeah, she's got the Asterion.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
Autistic paladin.
Why can't people just be autistic and not their characters?
I like that freeze frame there. It's almost like she's looking right at you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She's looking right at you, Rogan. Why are you asking me that question? I'm reporting you to HR.
The soulless person trying to look into our soul.
Yeah.
She's undead.
She's looking at us for our flash.
Yeah. I will say this. I did scour like her TikTok. It's cringy, but there's not like a ton of like TDS or anything like that. I kind of expected that. At least from what I could tell. I just looked at like the most recent stuff. So I guess there's that. A sandwich, lettuce, gorgonzola, bacon, and ooh, yeah.
It doesn't sound that bad.
I'm hungry.
You a very iconic sort of dealing with spirits spell, Spirit Guardians, and you get a fun, unique way of casting that, very similar to how some of our other bard subclasses, like the College of Glamour, get unique ways of interacting with other spells.
What do we have after that?
Yeah. Next is another returning friend, the...
It's like, oh gosh, he asked me another question. I don't know.
The G could be guacamole too, says Maliki.
Oh yeah.
Very classic grave domain for the cleric.
Yes.
So we wanted to keep that same sort of feeling of like pushing someone closer to death or like pulling them back from the brink and sort of that balance of walking that line while giving you more control and agency over what you're doing. So you'll see a lot of improvements in the Channel Divinity. We've sort of re-zhuzhed up the spell list as well to sort of give a little bit more utility.
Probably, DB,
balance between utility and damage.
Thank you.
Your Sentinel at Death's Door now can trigger on any hit, not just a critical hit. So you have a way more,
D&D old guard, so fucking
way
death
higher chance
domain.
of actually seeing it and using it. And it still does.
There's this weird navel gazing that they do with their own rules now. Instead of just like, here's the rules, you know.
Right.
It's like they do this weird navel gazing where they have to go down into everything. And I think before this energy, like in the past, at like early, we'll give the benefit of doubt, early Wizards of the Coast, and of course TSR. This kind of energy would be spent like developing settings, would be spent developing adventures, boxed campaigns, stuff like this. Instead, they're spending all this time doing this like weird inner, like, okay, we just released the rules. Here's the rules. You can really go into it. Oh, here's how we're going to change the rules a little bit. Well, you just put out the fucking rules.
Let us find out on our own. Shut the fuck up.
That's what they used to do. Here's your game. You do with it what you will.
Yes.
We're giving you the advice. Oh, and by the way, if there's an errata in it, that's one thing. If there's something in error, that's fine. But that would usually just be, they save that for like Dragon Magazine or something like that. Obviously different era. And they could just do a video like, here's the errata.
So they're just trying to do a hard sell then. They're really trying to push the shit out of it.
Yeah. No one of consequence. Exactly. They're fart sniffers. Mm-hmm. They're getting high on their own supply, as they say. But it's just so odd. It's almost like they don't have anything more to talk about.
Merlin, I just was going to tell Double D. We need that E clip.
E. All right. Remind me of that too. Crazy Mouse has like 3 things on his to-do list here for me.
Essentially the same effect of having the damage. So your crit becomes a regular hit, and then your regular hit, if you use it on that, becomes even less. So you have lots more utility there. And we've also just buffed up a couple of its other features to really lean more into the spookier death side
Patty?
of things. So it's
Hey, Patty, Mrs. D was wearing her shirt. She loved it. I ordered a shirt with a picture of Sister Brenna, the one that Patty did.
Rock and roll.
She wore it out to game night tonight.
instead of just being a cleric that does a little bit of like walking on the edge and pulling things back to life, you can also just sort of shove things over the line and push them back into death. So there's a little bit more offensive capabilities baked in there. At third level, you get a little bit of that. With Circle of Mortality, you get both a life feature, which is what we've kept from the old version, where you revive a creature at 0 and you can use your the max roll. And you get a little bit of a death feature, where if you're hitting a bloody creature, you do a little bit of extra necrotic damage.
So everyone's a giant. Everyone holds a giant blender as related to the underworld or something. Like here's my blender of doom. We're just going to give you all kinds of crap and cut you to pieces, and holy cow, it's just throw it all in there.
Something else, isn't it?
Let's have this undead person, whatever he's doing. Let's throw some barbarian. He gets the rage too.
It's crazy. This just would not interest. I see what they're going after. They're going after the players. They want the players. They know they can sell more things to players. So it's always like, it's all now player centric stuff. But that's why like settings and all that have kind of gone by the wayside, because it's hard to sell that. You can't sell that 4 times over to your group. DB for 2. So all the classes are immoral and evil. Shocked. Yes. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but pretty much so. Rich S for $5. To see you, here's a taste of the money this chick is saving me on buying anything from Wizards of the Coast. Well, thank you.
And I just saved myself $150.
Her pain is our gain. Thank you so much.
You're giving all the players all these, new to D&D. Is it going to be overwhelming? Are they going to min-max the daylights out of this? Well, it's built for that, apparently. And like you've mentioned this so many times, and I've always agreed with you strongly. What about the DM? What about the guy who's running the show? What does he have to do?
Look, I think they're fine with training AI to be a DM.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're expendable almost to them. I think they'll go down that road pretty hard in the next couple years. It's from like, we don't really like AI to be like, oh yeah, you should be using AI to run your games. Okay. I mean, if that's how you want to do it, it's just it becomes a different game at some point.
Yeah, there's no heart.
Yep.
Give him an elevator pitch real quick.
Get me up to speed. What's this about? A D&D book?
Is this like the new monster manual? It's new player's handbook? What is it?
Yeah, it's like it's their latest Unearthed Arcana, and I think they're going. Ooh, there we go. Give him something special that we prepared.
You have nice manners for a thief and a liar.
Thank you, Sean. I was thinking of you, buddy. I said, Sean wanted that. He's got it.
Sean gets
5 memberships. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No one of consequence. I think the only mental health issues this person has is, Munchausen. No, you think she's a munchie, huh? No one of consequence.
For Rogan.
How sexist of you to presume it's a guy running the game as a DM, yeah.
Oh, poop. You're right.
Boy, $2 the gym. Multi-class? Nah. Just level in amorphous sludge. Yep. The gray goo, as Pundit always talks about.
So we really wanted to play with that balance of, yeah, you can heal, but also you can hurt.
Yeah.
And it's been super fun, kind of keeping the core of the Grave Domain and the things that people really love.
Are you telling me it's fun? Are you convincing me, or are you convincing yourself?
I think she's convincing herself. Let me see how far we are here. Maybe we can come back to this. But we got 150. I'm almost 180 here. Maybe we'll do the Garibay video now. Well, I tell you what, we'll try. So we are, oh God, we're only 6 minutes in. Okay, so roughly halfway. I don't know what this is Scott's doing. It's a series. And he's
whoa! Wait a minute. Why is he all dressed up?
You're in for a surprise the further we go. Because I got to peek ahead. There's a little surprise coming your way. Jeff from Denkar, $2 on Rumble. They forgot that a balance is needed to make it work on tabletop content for both players and DMs. Exactly right. 10-1. This is. From the fact that so many of them have the video game industry mindset. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point too about the video game industry. Yeah. DMs have sort of become expendable to them. They know that they're going to buy everything anyway, so they don't feel like they have to especially cater to them. They'd rather cater to the 4th or 5th person at your table. DoorDash and got fancy. Wee wee.
How do you do? I didn't eat any of your fries today.
Be wearing a top hat and a monocle.
Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba, and Gary Gygax's Augury of the Platonic Solids.
Huh? I'm not familiar with this. Is this something?
Well, you're going to find out. He did a 10-part series of Augury of the Platonic Solids. And the thing is, because he puts out so many videos a day, like these are just going to get lost because he didn't, like at the very end of the description, he put not like a number, but like a jewel or gold or something like that to differentiate them. Instead of putting video 1 or number 1 Platonic Solids, number 2, like to make it easy on people. So if you're just looking at the thumbnails, often you can't see because it's cut off until you click on the whole video. Then you see the whole title. So nobody's going to know what order these are in. They're just going to be drowned out by the 10 videos he does on a normal day. But this is a series he is doing.
All right. Okay, this is going to be so let me catch you up with where we're at, and then I'll explain and this video is about being released from the rest of this mini series, okay? Of the miniseries I just mentioned. Okay. All right, so let me explain where we're at. All right, so you are currently listening to Scott Garibay, and my
Corte.
primary Earth realm,
A couple people got that at the same
right
time.
now is to return Orion Akaba to the honored right hand of Matthew Mercer at the Critical Role Exandria Season 4, Episode 1 table. Okay, I am working very hard to accomplish this, and I have a window of time. The moment
he's a man on a mission
that occurs, the Critical Role Exandria Season 4, Episode 1.
What the hell was that? Sorry about your dog, ma'am.
And my window time is closed. Literally up to the last minute of that day, I have a chance to change Matthew Mercer's mind and to convince him to bring Orion Akaba back to the Critical Role table where he belongs.
Either the roads in Philly are really bad, or there's people who are missing some pets.
In the physical seat with his physical self that he has earned. Okay? All right, so that's what's happening. And this playlist contains over 130 videos dedicated to that exact subject. Okay? Now,
so he has made 130 videos saying the same thing about Orion Akaba.
That's not healthy.
Insane.
What we're talking about today is a mini series within the overarching
I was thinking that
series
too,
of
Dark Wolf Star. Yeah.
is an
the honored
examination
right hand
of Matthew Mercer's.
I'm picturing one of those like Byzantine like paintings, where the guy's got his
right,
like Jesus has his arm extended out, like $7. Don't get that very often. Post-Anx Gen Xer. I like it though. He puts out so many videos, 10 to 12 a day. He does. Does he work? Yeah, he's working right now, actually. Does he have family obligations? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably does and fulfills them. Does he have a life? That I'm doubtful of. I guess is no. He does work. He's a dasher. Or he's a gig app worker, at least.
A gig app worker,
yeah,
for sure.
He could be dashing. In fact, I think we know he's probably dashing, at least a little bit, but could be doing other stuff too. Although with his car, if he was doing like Instacart and that, we'd probably see more product, wouldn't we, Crazy Mouse?
It wouldn't hold a lot of product.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He'd have to stuff his back seat. I guess he could use his trunk, but that would be kind of gnarly. Has he ever mentioned... either is that Double D or D&D? He's never mentioned me. From what I know, he did block me on Twitter though. Maybe his real job is creating roadkill for local Chinese restaurants.
Exile of Orion Akaba from the Vox Machina Mighty Nine Bell's House tape. Okay, that's the overarching playlist. That's the overarching structure. Okay, this is going to be a mini
newer.
series.
It's been in a couple of his videos.
Structure.
Yeah.
Okay, and.
I'll tell you what he did.
What are we going to talk about today?
He cleaned his window. Remember all the sneeze that was on it?
Oh, yeah. He must have put it through a car wash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm an evangelical Christian, and I used to go to a church. I went to this church for about a decade. We went to it for 12 years, right? And this was quite a while ago.
I wonder if they kicked him out.
But each church has its own language.
Somebody was spreading a rumor. This could just be rumor, but somebody was saying, like, yeah, he got kicked out of a church. Like, or at least was told, like, listen, you have to, like, you're going a little too nutty for us. You have to like calm down.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean he's drifting.
He's fanatical.
I mean,
yes, he's fanatical about this subject, which is kind of dangerous.
Impassioned, I believe, would be a good word to use.
I'm just.
Well, it's a fine line.
Just curious what else he's impassioned at that we don't see. The
yeah,
other things that in life he feels is important.
Let's hope. Like I said, let's hope his family has a firm hold on his home life.
Not a lot of. If you're not a churchgoer, you don't understand this. But one of the things they would do. So it was a ministry church in that every member had a ministry, right? And you would, and your ministry might be singing on stage. Your ministry might be clearing the chairs, right? But everybody had a ministry, and people would hang around, and then they would help each other. They would do their own ministry. And then they would help each other with their own ministries. They would do their own ministry, and then if they got done with that, like if you finished cleaning up, picking up the chairs, you might go and help people set up for the Monday night meeting, right? And set up chairs in a different part of the church, right? But there was this point, people would serve so long and so well that members in the church would say, "You are released," right? Especially leaders in the church. They would be like, I want you have worked really hard this Sunday, and I want you to just go home. You've done enough, right? And get this, there were members of the church who would ignore this, and they would stay and they would continue to serve, right? And it was good either way. If you continued to serve, your help was valued. But if you went home after you were released, that was okay, right? And today, this mini-series is Matthew Mercer and Orion Akaba and Gary Gygax's Augury of the Platonic Solids. And I am very careful about my content. I don't make my content in a void.
I don't know how careful you are, Scott. I may have to respectfully disagree there. Double D, he has mentioned you, according to him. You say such abominable things that you have to wear sunglasses to hide your identity. Do I, Scott? Do I? I will take them off for you. I say such abominable things. Scott, we kind of like you. We probably like you more than you may know because you're kind of entertaining. And we kind of playfully joke at some of the stuff you say. But you have to know that a lot of the stuff you say is a little kind of weird and over the line. But in the end,
he says we agree with.
Yeah, and occasionally you say stuff that we do agree with. But you have to understand that you're going a little sideways here, and you got to rein it back.
And sometimes we do. We ask people to check on you.
Yeah,
and
but
you and I are colleagues.
That's right. Yeah, so it's not as bad as you may think.
I'm very careful, right? And I give spoiler warnings, right? Sometimes I give frustration warnings. I'm like, I know this is, I really don't like the OSR in a lot of ways, right? And I'm like, hey, if you're a huge OSR fan, you don't have to listen to this. Or I'll give different warnings, right? I'm giving a warning for this release, okay? I'm giving a warning for this miniseries. This, and it is a profundity warning. This is going to be extremely profound, and the gap that you have to clear to understand this is going to be difficult.
I think he lost weight.
Yeah, I think so too. I love how he said, "What I'm going to tell you is he's going to drop something so profound on you that you better listen."
We're going to need language of Dungeons and Dragons history. You are going to need language. You're going to need language to understand Critical Role's history, right? And if you don't know D&D history, and you don't know Critical Role's history, and you don't know Orion Akaba's history. Let me tell you
something. When you, in my job, it's a lot of driving. So I see cars that I've seen before. Like, oh, here's that. I've seen that Tesla before. So imagine in Philadelphia, he's driving around so much. People are like, oh, there's that kook making a video again.
City of how many million people? Yeah.
There's no possibility you will reach the end of this miniseries and have understood anything and be anything but frustrated. Okay. I'm giving a profundity.
Yep.
Right. I'm giving a depth of content warning. Right. If you have been here for this Orion Akaba playlist, where we're going now is going to be the most difficult journey. This is going
Stay
to
tuned,
be
no one of consequence.
Difficult terrain, right? You're going to have to spend 2 squares of movement to move a single square here. This is harder than my normal content.
That is profound.
Yeah, he's reaching deep in there, isn't he?
He's a
lyricist.
Getting esoteric, downright esoteric.
And my normal content is extremely difficult, extremely frustrating, and extremely unique, right? Like my content frustrates people normally, and I'm not even warning them, right? Right?
So
this
true.
is not for the faint of heart. You are released. No one needs to watch this miniseries. Okay,
it's a great way to make a YouTube video. You don't have to watch this.
The craziest thing is his warning is like people are going to heed it. He's not going to get any views.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I looked. Some of them had like 10 views, like some of these videos. So yeah, it's almost like we're archaeologists uncovering, like the tomb of some old mummy.
Okay. This is only for those who are on their Earth realm primary quest of understanding profundity, right? At the deepest cost to your intellectual rigor. and even your emotional rigor, and frankly, your spiritual rigor, right? This is going to be costly, right? It's going to be a long, protracted group.
It's going to be grueling. You're going to be clawing your eyes out by the end.
So you are released. If anything I'm saying frustrates you, there are no victims here, only volunteers. You are released. The Dungeon Dudes are right down the hall to the left. Their channel is 100 times better than mine. They got lots of great stuff that you will not need to strain to understand. There is nothing profound there. Nothing will challenge you.
They're shit.
I do like him. See, this is what I mean, Scott. We love you taking shots at the Dungeon Dudes. I hate those guys.
Nothing will frustrate me, right? Like, the Dungeon Dudes are right down the hall. Check them out. They're fantastic. There's lots of other great channels right here on YouTube, right? You don't need to stick around for this.
Send them to me, Scott.
And with
Send
that,
them to me.
I'm going to start launching into Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba, and Gary Gygax's augury of the Platonic Solids. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion and my warning to you. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion.
My warning to you.
When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider like and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.
Yeah, Howard.
Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to be talking about Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba.
Part of the reason I put all those Garibays on there, was of course to tie it into the gorilla thing, but I honestly felt like I was taking on, as I was editing all this stuff together, I'm like, oh my lord.
And Gary Gygax's augury of the Platonic Solids. Okay, so I've already done my release video on this. If you haven't seen that, go back and listen to that. But if you have and you're ready, buckle up. Here we go. Okay.
Good to have you, buddy.
Why? Okay. So Gary Gygax gave Dungeons & Dragons to the world on February 7th, 1974. We know this from the making of Dungeons & Dragons 1970 to 1978. That was a honkin' read that I had to finish in 2024. It was wait a second. Yeah, that was a huge read.
I like how he read a big book and he's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that was a huge read. The self-filleting is astronomical. Good to see you too, Ryan, for $2. Thank you.
I understand the reference, Dice Tail. Another one.
Oh, is that DJ Khaled or whatever?
Another one.
That I recently finished. It was 578 pages long, and in it explained how Gary dropped Dungeons & Dragons.
I'm hip.
Right? And, all right, now when he did that, he decided very specifically to have Dungeons & Dragons, to craft Dungeons & Dragons with the iconic Dungeons & Dragons dice set, okay, which are 6 polyhedral shapes, okay? He chose a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and a D20, okay? All right.
Another one.
Now, why did he choose those specific
I'll have to rack
shapes?
that.
Why not
Put
other
that on the
shapes?
list, Crazy Mouse.
Why is the iconic set those 6 dice, right? And no others, right? Well, here's why. It is the augury of the Platonic Solids.
Oh
okay.
my God. I'm
so
so
Gary
insulted.
Gygax.
I don't know what this means. When I think auger, I think like boring in,
Right.
like with a drill, don't you? I mean, you're
I read one time when I put up a fence.
God. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm tempted to
We'll see.
Google.
He
that.
doesn't know what he's doing.
What does this augury mean?
He was
doing.
I mean, augury is, I think he's referring to the spell, the casting of the future,
Right.
but it's just weird. But whenever he says it, I always think like,
Mama's wrong again. No kind of saying this, you're wrong.
He was auguring Critical Role in 1974. He
Scott is
understood
wrong
then
again.
that Dungeons and Dragons was
You know,
going to go.
Quasimodo
go down
predicted
a
all this.
road. I think in 1974,
You know.
he was aware that the Satanic Panic would happen. Right. He was also aware that Dungeons and Dragons was going to be around for at least 500 years. Right?
So we got Orion Akaba sitting at the right hand of Jesus, Gary Gygax laying out D&D being around for 500 years.
Does this have anything to do with Dianetics?
it's getting that ring, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this is starting to get the made up religion feel to it.
Right, and he was quite aware that they were. He knew everything they were going to need. That's why he got Brian Bloom. Right, like he knew they were going to need money. He knew this thing was going to blow off the shelves. He knew he'd be in Hollywood soon. Right.
I don't think he knew any of this stuff, Scott.
But he also knew that Dungeons & Dragons would go through stages, right? And one of those stages would be that Dungeons & Dragons would go through the initial design stage, the initial growth stage, but then there would be a denouement. There would be a cooling. There would be a dip, right? But then there would be...
Ryan.
Yeah. Don't forget, he called himself Moses. Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yep. I think it was 2 weeks ago because I don't think we did Scott last week, but yeah. He did.
We didn't do Scott last week because we did the naked guy in the desert.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I should have that racked and ready in case you guys act up in the chat. So many people were like, please, Double D, never again. My eyes. If you guys are getting bad in the chat.
The hills have thighs. The hills have thighs.
That was funny.
Yeah, you guys were on fire.
Dungeons & Dragons iconic player set would come out, okay? And so he specifically chose those 6 polyhedral shapes in order to augur Critical Role specifically.
Remember in
John the Baptist?
Remember in Tomb Raider
would come
Angelina Jolie taps the chair, but who sits here?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Tomb Raider, like all these like symbols and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Tomb Raider meets the one with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, the book because that was like a big book series, wasn't it? Yeah, the
Chap, what's the name of that book?
Yeah, he went around like finding all the
symbols,
the symbols, and the
Da Vinci
Constitution.
Code.
Da Vinci
Thank you,
Code.
Ryan.
There you go.
On fire. Hit another 3. Just another one.
Another one.
After the dip, and then catapult Dungeons & Dragons forward again. And Gary Guy got catapulted Dungeons & Dragons forward in 1974. Lorraine Williams.
Are we reading the same one real quick?
Yes. Go ahead, give it to him.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.
Catapulted Dungeons & Dragons forward in 1986. Ryan Dancy catapulted for Dungeons & Dragons forward in 2001.
God.
Right? Matthew Mercer.
So all these people, like, if they were alive, some of these people, they'd be like...
Right.
It'd be like the one I had the interview with Mike Tyson I'm always referring to. Fuck you, it was just a fight. He'd just be like, fuck you, I was just making money, you know?
Matt Mercer, double M, Gary Gygax, double G, Dungeons & Dragons, double D. I'm telling you, it's all tied together. Quasimodo predicted
Quasimodo, yeah.
Full-blown Dianetics.
There's also that Jim Carrey movie with like the numbers, like where he was going
23
crazy.
or something like that?
Yeah, 23. Yeah.
I've yet to see that.
Yep.
Catapulted Dungeons & Dragons forward in 2014.
Oh boy, yeah.
Right? And
I could see the horror as she like goes through the notebook page by page.
In 2015,
like in that movie Seven with all those books.
Yep.
Dungeons & Dragons
or The Shining. Yep.
Iconic player set.
Classic trope.
Came, and they were augured. They were predicted.
Augured.
They were foretold by the specific shapes that Gary chose for the polyhedrons. He chose those specific shapes.
I'm blasted by this. I really am. I'm like, honestly, like,
say what you want. He's got us kind of pulled in.
He does. He absolutely does.
We're talking about this new religion he's starting to like make.
This is rather enthralling, but also my mind says no. He chose those dice because they got numbers on them.
Yeah, he had to generate random numbers.
But no, apparently there's more to it. I am enthralled.
What's in the box?
To accomplish the augury of the Platonic solids. There's a lot more to this, but I wanted to explain why he chose the D4, the D6, the D8, the D10, the D12, and the D20, no other dice, and did not leave any of them out, right? Because he was accomplishing.
I don't think there were any other dice back then.
Solids. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion.
The
important part is when I get to hear your
more to go.
When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.
There is a I just looked up the augury of the Platonic solids. It's deep.
Oh yeah, yes. 20's a flat earther. Ooh, I don't know. Webhead Mike, if you're there, if you're listening, let us know. Oop, Black Lodge here. Greetings. Good to see you. Good to see you, boys.
Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba, and Gary Gygax's Augury of the Platonic Solids. So on February 7th, 1974, Gary Gygax set into place the specific polyhedron.
Yes. It just goes to show if you put a little mystery behind something, give it a weird name, Augury of the Platonic Solids. Ooh, sounds very.
It's the name of my next adventure.
Yeah, it's exotic. And then your first video is essentially saying, don't watch the rest of these videos. Maybe he's onto something. I mean, nobody took the advice. Like I said, I think 10 people are.
That would set. Well, that
Ooh,
would create
number one.
The
Ding.
iconic.
We need like a little ding whenever he does that.
Dungeons and Dragons set. But the choice of exactly
nose is a tomb
which
of boogers,
shape
says
to go
RPG
in that
Dad.
polyhedral set were actually an augury. They were him auguring the iconic player set that would occur in Critical Role. And the first of those was the D4, which was the others player. So Gary Gygax augured.
Right, so the die 4 is representative of the others player. Okay. Rich S, $5. Would you like to hear about our Lord Augury of the Platonic Solids? Yes, I will subscribe to your newsletter too.
That there would be one dungeon master, the D20, okay? And then he augured every other type of iconic player who would arrive. And the first type
he changed shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's a different day. I don't know the days these were made on. I don't think they were all done on the same day. They were done sequentially, so they were done in a connected period of time.
Unless he was one of the people fighting the gorilla and the gorilla ripped his shirt off.
He's the last
Garibay versus 100 Garibays versus a gorilla. $4.99. Silverlock. I just keep hearing those ladies in a commercial saying, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
The others player. And this
Thank you
was
very
filled
much.
by Marisha Ray in Critical Role. And
so he's comparing Marisha Ray, a.k.a. our car wash angel.
Oh, boy. Remember that porn? Corn. Remember that corn video?
Yeah. Comparing her to the die 4. Okay,
I'm surprised he hasn't tied in the die 4 to the pyramids.
Maybe it's coming.
Critical Role is the iconic player set. The player set that arrives and actually.
Oh boy! Oh my goodness gracious!
Whoa! That was
what was that all about?
Like a slap weight.
All right.
He did the old front back.
That's the foundation for what a player group should look like. Okay. And so what was Marisha Ray? She was the others type. She was specifically there at the table for the purpose of the others at the table. I don't believe for one moment that Marisha Ray ever had, that she got into Dungeons & Dragons because she had any interest in Dungeons & Dragons. Like, I believe she was invited. And she's like, who's going to be there? Right? And they were like, Matthew Mercer. And she's like, you stop talking. I'll be there. That's fine. All right. Like, right.
See, that was funny.
He cracked himself up. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Like I said, some of the stuff he says.
Look at his face. He's really proud.
I was going to say, that is a.
Mommy, look at this rock I found on this walk.
That's joy right there.
That is a very proud man.
That's it, right? And and
those workers were probably like a little too close, buddy.
I think she was genuinely interested in hanging out with the other people, and she's the others player. This is at every table. I'm convinced, and I think Gary knew this. He knew what this was going to look like. That there would be players at the table who had absolutely no interest in Dungeons & Dragons. They simply were interested in the other people at the table. So I think Marisha Ray is the others type of iconic player. Now, what is she? She is the D4. Why the D4? because she's the least valuable of.
Oh boy!
Ooh, ouch!
What was that?
The least valuable.
So all women are the least valuable. Like,
this is the making of a cult.
Oh boy.
Yikes! Could be right though. We must concede that he could be right.
Any of
Chat, is he right about Marisha Ray being the least valuable at that table? I mean, physical looks aside.
the players, right? She's not there. She's never going to have
Not to
system
the
mastery.
Batmobile.
She's not there.
Yeah, I was going to say the Batmobile would like to think otherwise.
You know, out of love of the genre. She's not there out of love of anything in Dungeons & Dragons. She's there because of the other people at the table, right? But she is there. She is a player. She is an iconic player, right? And these players don't have zero value, right? Because
you forgot my fries. You see some guy running down the street.
I like this, see, because we're getting really deep here. Yeah, Marisha Ray is the Mary Magdalene of the Mercer followers. I'm surprised you didn't make that that leap too.
reality is, every single person at the table who belongs there brings value to the player set. And I do believe that Marisha Ray brings value to the player set. I believe that value is her encouragement of the other players and her interaction with the other
and her
players,
boobs.
right?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so she,
It's basically what he's saying. He's saying it without saying it. Yeah.
She was the D4, the tetrahedron, and specifically, she is in the iconic player set. She is the white plastic, green crayoned D4 tetrahedron.
Whoa. That is some deep lore there.
It is very deep.
He not only did he say you're just a D4, you are a white D4 with green numbers. He likes her parents, yeah. He ain't the only one.
And she is the first platonic solid and the least valuable of the platonic solids, the one that can do the least. It has the least numbers, it has the least power, it has the least value, right? And so, and Gary Gygax.
I don't know if I'm trying to think. I understand what he's saying. Like, naturally, you default to damage, right? There's got to be some other instances of using a D4 that, mean bigger things. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, when Double D's doing a random attack.
If there's four people around, that if your number comes up,
completely augured the other type.
Sorry.
And said it.
I think he owes Professor DM an apology. Misogynist. Yeah. Yep. And look, I'm not here to defend Marisha Ray. She's a millionaire, plus married to Matt Mercer, but still, this is really weird and odd.
Into place the D4 as.
Here's what I think. I think he's just thinking, like, I'm running out of angles to do the whole Orion Akaba thing, so I'm going to redress it. And I'm going to use the dice of D&D as a way to run down all of the other players in Critical Role, to show how valuable Orion Akaba would be compared to all these knuckleheads.
So he would be the seventh.
Yeah, he'd be the magical die 9. The mystical die 9. Oh, yeah. Yep, functional cheap, yeah. Or you could just use some of those game science die 4s. Same thing.
Or Jacks.
Least valuable.
Remember Jacks?
Oh yeah, the
That
game,
game?
like the game Jacks. Yeah, I think that's sort of how I envision them.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. When people are using them, that's kind of how I envision them.
The iconic player set. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium. Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba, and Gary Gygax's Augury of the Platonic Solids. And today we're going to talk about Taliesin Jaffe. All right, so on February 7th, 1974, Gary Gygax drops D&D, and he augurs the upcoming prototypical absolute maximum player set who will take Dungeons & Dragons and catapult it forward, right? And he really augurs Critical Role, okay? So I've already discussed and explained to you exactly how he augured Marisha Ray, the others type, the others player, right? So today we're going to talk about Taliesin Jaffe. So Scott, how did Gary Gygax, 41 years before they would start playing, augur Taliesin Jaffe? What did he say about Taliesin Jaffe? Absolutely nothing, right? Taliesin Jaffe was not augured by Gary Gygax, okay? And the reason why is Taliesin Jaffe should have never been at the Critical Role table, okay? Now, the augury of the Platonic Solids is a 41-year augur by Gary Gygax declaring...
That's Taliesin Jaffe, by the way. This is who he's talking about.
Oh, ain't he special?
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like Boy George.
Yeah.
From back in the day.
Yeah, it's I may give Scott a papal dispensation to go after this guy here.
Is he another voice actor?
Oh yeah, I think they're all voice actors. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
He's got a face only a mother could love.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what the iconic player set.
Yeah, he's alone in his
right?
thoughts too much, Chris.
D4,
I agree with you with
D6,
that.
D8,
Yeah.
D10, D12.
That's the thing. You do a job like Crazy Mouse has this job, but he also has like friends that he interacts with a lot. If you don't have that, and you have of course your family too. If you don't, have
even though I do the same job as him, I don't. He could do as many apps as I do, but there's days I'm out interacting with customers a lot, I'm shopping for them and I see people at a grocery store that I know or whatever. So I am alone in my thoughts in my car a lot, but I don't have this much time alone.
Yeah. Well, he's starting to find time, or he has found time to do this. So I guess it's a way to be constructive. I mean, normally you'd want to make money. He's not making any money doing this, but
Chris, I do use a notebook all day long.
Yes, I have seen the legendary notebook. Crazy Mouse takes meticulous, and I mean meticulous notes about all your stuff. Right?
Every delivery I do.
Every single one, yep.
D20, one specific person iconically templating this type of player set forever forward, right? As the template, as the paragon of that player type.
Good to hear.
Right?
Forgive Felon.
Yep.
And
welcome.
And so he set this into place.
Absolutely.
41 years, so
We
that
don't judge
Matthew
you.
Mercer would be able to pick
Well,
it
we
up
do,
and say,
but
okay,
we won't judge you.
I need these 5 players, and this is how we're going. I'm the D20. I need to get my D4. I need to get my D6. I need to get my D8. I need to get my.
Oof, he's thinking hard on
D10,
that one.
I need to get my D12s, and then everything's going to be in place. It's going to be perfect, and we're going to catapult forward Dungeons and Dragons exactly the way that Gary intended, right? Or actually,
what do you think? He just had lunch?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was
Someone
thinking.
else's lunch.
Yeah. yes.
that he augured,
There.
not
Just
intended.
finished tasting it right there. Ding.
Get
All
the
right,
salt
so-
from the fries off of your hands. Yeah. Lick every last
Wait.
bit.
Why is Taliesin Jaffe there? Like he was at the table, and the reason why is Matthew Mercer didn't get it all right. Right?
The reason why is I don't know. So let's go, cuz it takes two to make things go right.
Did you read Harry Potter? Right? Like they're like, "Ooh, you're the
Leland
chosen
said
one."
Taliesin Jaffe's
Everybody's
actually
you
a
ain't
good
reading those omens right. You're not reading
We'll
the
trust you.
interpretations right. And Matthew Mercer did not do it perfect. Right? Taliesin Jaffe should never have been at the Critical Role table. And it is my humble belief that at every single moment of his table, Taliesin Jaffe has done nothing but make Critical Role worse. He is the only player at the table.
I told you, this is just a way for him to run down
Yes.
everybody else to make Orion Akaba look better. He's just like, gee, the 1,300 videos I've done so far, it's not working. So let's try this angle.
Done this. But I honestly believe that Critical Role would be
never
better
humble,
in every
Cal,
possible
never humble.
way if Taliesin Jaffe had never sat down at the table. I also think there would have been a good chance that they would have just hired John Harper to create Candela Obscura, and that Candela Obscura would have been a massive hit if Taliesin Jaffe had never had sat down at that Critical Role table. So So Scott, then what is Taliesin Jaffe? He is a D4. He is definitely the least valuable of all player types, right?
Wait, I thought Marisha.
Yeah, I thought Marisha Ray was.
Hold on, I thought somebody else was the D4.
Come on, Scott. You're not even. This is the next video. You should be consistent there. Welcome, Papa Burgundy.
Yep.
Oh, somebody says, JP says Taliesin was already playing in Matt's home game.
Right, like
okay, fair enough.
And
fair
what
enough.
player type?
I'm just saying, I'm not going out in public. I mean, I'm not even going to a Halloween party looking like this. I don't know what this is.
Well, think about this from his point of view. He woke up, got ready, looked in the mirror, and he's like, "Yep, this is what I want today."
Yeah. I'm going to darken the eyes, purple up the hair.
People are definitely going to take me serious today in this.
And the tragedy is, in today's world, a fair number of people will. They'd be like, "Oh, you're so."
Hi, I'd like to make an application to work here at your front desk. I don't think so.
Oof, that's rough. That is rough.
Idea is null, literally null, NULL, right? Like, just he should never have been at the Critical Role table. Okay, now he is still a Dungeons and Dragons player. So what exactly is Taliesin Jaffe? He is a red plastic D4 tetrahedron, platonic solid. Okay.
There's a chicken nugget stuck
with
in his beard.
White,
yes.
With black crayon. Red plastic with black crayon. Okay. Well, you're like, wait. You said that Marisha Ray was white plastic with green crayon. That's right, because she's in the iconic player set, and every single die in that player set is white plastic with green crayon.
I'm trying
You're
my
like,
best.
So you
here,
just have a
honestly.
D4 that's red. You have a red plastic D4 with black crayon. Where's the rest of that set? Yeah, that's a real good question. Where is the rest of that set? Right. So that is.
I don't know if anybody was asking.
Welcome to my office. You're fucking fired.
and this is extremely important. We reach this point by understanding what Gary did, right?
Wow.
And this is Taliesin Jaffe. He is that die. When you get all your dice together, and you've had dice for years, right? And you're like, what the heck is this? It's one die from a set, and I don't have any of the other dice from that set. And you're like, I should throw this out. But then you're like, I'm a dungeon master and a dragon master. I can't throw out dice. I can't.
Dragon master.
Cow.
Dungeon master and a dragon master.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
I can't do it because I'm sure that set's going to turn up somewhere, and then you keep it for another 8 years, and not a single other one ever fall. And you're like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
I still have this stupid die. It does nothing. It never reaches the table. It's so useless, right? That is Taliesin Jaffe.
All right, Taliesin Jaffe, not a fan favorite of the Garibay household. What is Scott even on about with this schizoid rant? What's he even trying to say? It's like I said, it's just a weird way to kind of run down the rest of the cast.
He is an offset. He is the D4 red plastic, black crayon tetrahedron offset. There's no other matching dice to him. He does not serve any.
I wonder if Money
purpose
Matt's
at
selling
the
these
Critical Role
dice.
table.
Like he's making this color scheme, and he's just like,
Yeah.
you know,
Come get your platonic solids.
Distracted from the experience of everybody at the table and everybody observing the table. Everyone, right? Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion.
All right, we'll do one more,
part is when I get to
then we'll
hear
save
your
the
humble
rest, because
opinion.
one more will take
Give
us
the
about
comments,
halfway
send your
through.
comment. Please consider subscribing.
I got news for you.
Factual
Yeah,
idea.
we're.
Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Matthew Mercer, Orion Akaba, and Gary Gygax's Augury of the Platonic Solids. And today we're going to talk about the D6 cube player, right? Which Gary Gygax augured as a specific type of player.
Like that statement there, I just want to know, like, when did he do this?
Right.
Show me. Did he say it? Did he Did he write it down somewhere?
I bet you he went on EN World, and everything that Gary Gygax was offering, he went through and count every other letter. You know, some sort of.
Yeah, there's like a code, like a hidden code,
That's how he got it. Some sort of polyhedron-esque.
And that type is the sacrifice player. The person at the table, the player, the Dungeons & Dragons player, who would sacrifice the most to be at the table, who would pay the highest price to be at the table. He augured this.
It's the weirdest move. He's licking the bottom of his palm like this. Like,
right.
Why? That's got to be like a childhood habit, I would think, of some kind. It's got to be a habit.
He's got sauce on it. He just can't.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you get sauce on your fingers.
Something happened in the back seat because now the thing's down with the water bottle there. So there's been food or something in the car since the last video.
I'll grant you that, but he does it so often that there's something more. Yeah, there's like something psychological about it. It's like those people that have like that. What's that thing? It's called pica, like PICA, where they put everything in their mouth. Like they'll eat dirt and whatever else they can find.
We had a dwarf that did that at our table.
Yes, we did.
Oh God,
eat some dirt.
We
loved him for it.
Absolute,
not really, but we loved him.
Of the Dungeons & Dragons player set, which would be Critical Role. 41 years before it occurred, Gary Gygax knew.
Yeah, third letter in every line.
That he would set the game in place. Okay, but then
he's a tack. He's a bear with honey on his paws. I like that imagery. I really do.
And he would define everything that was needed for dungeon.
John,
masters,
we wish he was an Uber
but
driver.
He couldn't
we wish.
define things for players because master players had not.
If there was somebody back there listening to all this, that is good content.
Emerged yet. And Gary Gygax was not a good Dungeons & Dragons player. And I don't think he knew much at all about Dungeons & Dragons players. He really knew how to set the dungeon master in place. But I think he knew enough about what he had built to realize that
Robbie Mack thinks he's a furry and licking his paws to groom himself.
Until much later. Right?
I got you, Robbie.
It would surprise me.
So who on Critical Role is the sacrifice player? Well, it's clearly Ashley Johnson.
Oh, clearly.
She has paid the highest price to be a member of Critical
His passenger was the fat rapper from Detroit.
Okay.
DeArmas.
What's really and also she is the D6, the cube, right? She is the D6. She is the white plastic with green crayon D6, right? Each of the numbers crayoned in with green.
So
right?
They need to pay. Then give us your credit card, and then you're in.
Then you get the full set, the full set of dice.
2 women, white dye with green crayon.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. What the hell? Oy, oy, oy.
And she's part of that iconic set, the polyhedral set. Okay? And her shape is D6, and she is, and this is extremely important, the platonic solid. Okay, she is a platonic solid.
Yeah, Cal, I have.
And
if it's we probably have the same sets. The magenta box, like the dice were blue. Generally speaking, were blue, yellow, and orange. Blue, yellow, orange. Like I still have at least a full set, and probably like half of another. From that,
I had the orange set.
You have
what
the orange.
Was Come a Chameleon song? All my dreams are red, green, and orange, purple, green, and orange. What was that?
That I'm not
remember
sure.
From Come a Chameleon, Boy George.
I do remember the song. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That lyric. Help us out, Jet. What were the colors?
Ashley Johnson was augured by Gary Gygax, right? And but what's really important to understand is they're like, well, wait a second, why
red,
did
gold, and green?
Why was all this done? Well, the reason we're talking about this mini series is within the greater series of Orion Akaba, and all this was done to explain the exile of Orion Akaba, which we wouldn't understand until a decade after it happened, right? What he did in the Akaba 72 window is so profound that it has revealed concrete realities about Dungeons and Dragons a decade later, and revealed also more of what Gary accomplished, right? So,
Badger, I opened a expert box on stream, and actually it was weird because the dice were mostly brown and there was a green one in there. And I had never seen those colors before in a dice. All the ones I had seen, even in like friends sets, maybe it was just particular to our area, but it was yellow, orange, and especially blue. There was a lot of blue dice.
Ashley Johnson is the sacrifice
Like
player.
I have an old blue die 20 that is kind of mostly retired now. We used to call it the Widowmaker because for a time it would seem to roll nothing but 20s. Now it just keeps rolling because all the edges, as everybody knows with those dice, they've just like chunked off over the years. So it's more like just kind of like a marble that just kind of keeps rolling. Interesting though, every once in a while I'll break it out, but it has lost its status as Widowmaker. $2 Asterion miniseries. Are you sure about that, Scott? Yeah. 50 minutes Asterion. We're only like 23, 24 in.
She slots
We'll
in
move on.
as the D6.
Stop the presses.
Pay that man his money.
Indeed. $10 Ninjaneer. If this was the first time he sounded like a schizo, I would just agree he's looking for a dog at the CR cast. But given some of his past content, I'm concerned he actually believes this stuff. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, he could be falling into his own trap here.
Right?
Everybody keeps saying red. I've never seen red dice. Like those old school, like ones you had to fill in with crayons. I've never seen those in red. So that's actually kind of cool. I'm glad that they're out there. You know, maybe some of you guys haven't seen any like orange or something. Speaking of orange, oh my Lord.
Bitter dregs.
Indeed. Good to see a double AH squared. Pouring one out for all my red plastic platonic solids with black crayon numbers, homies. Yes. Show them off. Thank you so much, Howard.
Thank you, Howard.
Yep. Thanks all of you guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
And it's extremely important to understand her position and her
Holmes
role.
set. Okay.
It's also
Maybe
understand.
that explains it.
important
Holmes
to
was a little
understand
bit before.
Ashley Johnson, by her shape, by her D6.
We got into it probably
by
like
her
80,
cube
81,
shape, by
I
her
think.
platonic,
Magenta box.
Solid status, right? But specifically by the D6, okay? She's more valuable as a player type
This is Ashley
and as a
Johnson?
player than Marisha Ray. She's simply better. Like they're and this.
I gotta look this chick up.
Also,
She's the,
extremely
I believe the blonde.
important.
She did a cameo.
The
in
dice are not
the
equally
Avengers.
important, right? The D20 is of far greater value than the D4, right? And Matthew Mercer and Marisha Ray are not the same. Matthew Mercer and Ashley Johnson are not the same. Matthew Mercer is of higher value than either of them, and is also of higher value than both of them. They're not the same level of talent. They're not the same. They're not the same value to the
It is
D&D
a siren.
or to D&D history, right? And this is
They finally caught up to him.
a concrete reality that we are discovering about Dungeons and Dragons, right? For 50 years, we said that every player at the table was of equal value. That's not even remotely true. That is not even. It's never been true, right? And it's extremely important to understand that the players at your table are not of equal value. Some of them are of far higher value than other players, right? And so Ashley Johnson is just a higher value player than Marisha Ray. As a D6, she's a higher value player than a D4, right?
Dang.
Every single
Ding.
word we just heard.
Oh my gosh.
Ding, ding.
God. This video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please
She
consider
looks like that
subscribing
actress,
and have
the Irish one, Cersei.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
The one who played Cersei?
No.
Her
name
Irish.
is Cersei.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll find it.
She was in The Lovely Bones.
Yeah, the Lovely Bones movie is the exact one I was thinking.
That's probably why I don't think I saw that movie. Okay, we'll tell you what, we'll save it. We'll save the rest. Trust me, we're only halfway through. Brutal.
I feel like I need to talk to my therapist.
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yes.
All right, I'll have to check.
Well, she shaved her head, but I mean,
like Sinead O'Connor.
Kind of, but there she is right there, Double D.
Yeah. Pretty.
Yeah, she is very pretty.
Yep. All right. Do we want to go? Do we want to plumb the depths of race in America?
Might as well. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Be on your best behavior, chat. Let's handle this like professionals.
They made that flight. You did. And you think you're gonna check me in. I bet you we won't. Hey?
I paid for a ticket.
And you
yeah,
didn't
I
pay
paid for a
$25
ticket.
for an agent assistant, and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that
I was gonna get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your
What
flight.
the fuck? Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
These are employees of Frontier Airlines. Okay, some guy was obviously a little late getting to the gate. And, if you're in customer service, you kind of have to say, sorry, sir, just
Right.
policy, we can't admit you. But apparently there was confusion because he says, like, they were going to, and then I think he's thinking, like, is it because I'm a white guy?
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight.
First of all, your employees, what the fuck are you doing with your cell phones out?
Yeah.
And they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly
You were
on
about to
Frontier
let me
unless-
check in. You were about to let me check in.
Oh,
and you decided that you ain't going to let me check in.
Make me check you in. Make me check.
So he's just saying you were about to do it, and then now she's saying, like, challenging him, like, make me check you in.
Why do so many people out there want to get punched?
I don't know.
I literally work for a company that I
This
bought
is all
a
gonna
plane
tie
ticket
in.
for. I'm here 30 minutes before the
Can you
flight.
please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal.
Leave his personal space. Does he look like he's in her personal space?
He's being very polite. He's frustrated, but
Yeah.
very polite.
You never know what went on before this. But just by the way his tone is now, I'm going to assume he wasn't screaming, Right. Otherwise you'd kind of hear that carryover in
Right.
his voice, I would
and they'd
think.
be losing their crap if that happened.
Yeah.
They'd be really disrespectful.
He seems very calm. Maybe he didn't follow the rules, but there's better ways.
This is not your personal
This
space.
is my stationary.
This is not
I'm at
your
Frontier.
personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't got to worry about it. We ain't got to worry about it.
You don't have
We
to
ain't
worry
getting
about
on
it. You're literally not doing your
ain't gotta
job
get on
for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get
Now
home.
she's going to assault him.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
Stop putting your camera on me as I'm holding my
Yeah.
camera on you.
Yeah.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in.
Or fly Frontier.
For no
That's the worst part. You have an employee sitting there.
reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
All right. So obviously wasn't just the sisters there, but we sort of, when she was doing the old, and and then you thought you check in, like we've seen that before. We're getting frustrated with that. Are we not societally a little bit?
Yeah.
It's been.
Summer, when you been on the main show.
All right, so you're showing off your ride.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't give a shit.
Let's get some game.
But-
I'll let you niggas feel this, man. Wasn't a part of this shit.
What's going on behind? Is this just a parking lot? Oh no, they're holding up traffic that far back. Okay.
Check this shit out.
This is all leading to something. Okay. I'm just saying. Yes, of course, every white people probably do this too. But I'm just saying, you see a car like that, you see people milling about. You're not surprised, when there's a couple
Those
brothers in the
Rim
mix.
Snake oil remind me of that bra that Madonna wore.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The cone bra.
Yes. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, back in the night. Was that in her book? That book she put out?
Justify My Love. But I think that cone bra was it not in, well, maybe Papa Don't Preach, where she dances, not the actual part where she interacts with Danny Aiello, but like
she did that part. Like sex book, it wasn't like sex. People are tired of this. That's what I'm getting at. All right, so it's not just me saying this. So listen to this. This is Aaron Magruder, creator of The Boondocks. Actually, a pretty funny show.
Why the civil rights movement has been so successful, and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence, is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action, they can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery, I don't care about segregation, I don't care about you, I don't care how many of you all go to jail, I don't care at all, because I'm broke.
All right, so if he's saying it, why would it be offensive for us to already think it? By the way, that was 20 years ago. I think he said that. That was from 20 years ago. So we've had 20 more years, which has sort of led up to this point. And there's one thing I do want to show you. That's Austin Metcalf. And as we saw over the last month or so, give, send, go. $500,000. There's no question about what happened. Austin Metcalf was stabbed and was unarmed. Okay, whatever they want, defense they want to use, it was somebody stabbed somebody who was not armed. People were outraged by this. And I think they underestimated how outraged people were about this. And it's all sort of led up to this, which just happened on a playground in Minnesota. Language warning here, but it's nothing you won't hear 100 times in any given rap song.
Call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
Your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
Okay, so that he was true to his word. By the way, that was a Somali, Mohammed Omar. By the way, for the record, should be pointed out, I'm not sure what he was doing on a playground, seeing as he was arrested. The charges were dropped, but he was arrested for GRAP-ing a 16-year-old girl. So I'm not exactly sure why he was on a playground. And that was not his, apparently the kid, the 5-year-old or whatever, who nobody even knows if the kid's 5. He looked a little bit older than that.
Danny Almonte.
yeah, exactly. Well, let me tell you this too. Mrs. D got a new student, and she's at a school where kind of, for lack of a better word, some of the worst kids end up. They're not all like that, but the worst ones end up here too. And she's like, this kid, he is a black kid. She's like, he's 6 foot tall. She's like, and he's gotten in trouble for threatening and making contact with other teachers. So sure enough, after 2 days in the class, he's up in Mrs. D's face, and she's like trying to de-escalate and all this. And I think what you're hearing, that woman's name is Shiloh Hendricks. And, obviously, agree, disagree. It's obviously I wouldn't have used those words. But in the same respect, people are fed the fuck up. They're tired of this word that apparently only one side can use. But they'll call each other this word. They'll put it in every song. And she's just frustrated. And yeah, probably shouldn't have said it, but good Lord. All right, let it go. So he's trying to ruin her. Not only that,
but this woman is a danger to children. She doesn't need to be on a playground or around other kids. And
she's a mom. She saw some kid going through her kid's stuff and said, "Get the fuck out of here," and then used a saucy term. Shouldn't have used it, but who cares? In the end of the day, who cares? The thing is, she picked her stuff up and was leaving.
She has at least one child of her own, which is also concerning. So Rochester, Minnesota, someone do me a favor. Take a close look at her tattoos. You can see her face clearly. Someone please tell me who she is.
Trying to dox her. Trying to ruin her.
Share. I'm trying to find the woman who called the little boy the N-word, the 5-year-old little boy, artistic boy. She needs to be found and locked up.
He's autistic.
Artistic, yeah.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, what about the baby? What about the baby? Because technically, that baby is going to grow up and be part of the Triple K. That baby might grow up to be Hitler. That baby is going to grow up and probably be the worst of the worst out there in the world. And you know what? I don't want that baby policing children that look like me. I don't want that baby growing up doing anything else to people that look like me, all because it was taught that. But since, unfortunately,
So
CBS
are we saying 5-year-old abortions now?
I believe that is what he's implying.
not going to be able to do nothing, what should we do?
It's Double D. Your wife's obviously a teacher. My wife's a teacher. How many times have we heard stories about little kids going in saying the most awful things?
Oh, yeah.
Of any race.
Yes.
Saying awful things that your wife had to deal with and my wife had to deal with.
Yep.
And we're going to point a finger in one direction. What about that little kid? That kid's going to be the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Hang on. I've heard stories about kids coming to school, little ones, not even knowing their name. All they know is their name is
they live in a
nickname.
haze of marijuana smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby is 5, yeah. I can show you something there too. I can show you something there in a moment. And it's the point here is not to pick on one particular race, but
Right.
it's to point out that people have had enough, that the guilt for slavery has gone on too long, and it got ignited into high gear with the whole George Floyd and people bowing. Remember that, you had normal people bowing at the feet. The thing is, people fucking had it. Okay. And that's why this happened. Okay. Can you guys read the number on the far end there? 738 $1,000. Help me relocate my family. And people gleefully did so.
Right.
And look, obviously there's a lot of people who just hate black people, and you have to understand, there's a difference between being tired, as the creator of the Boondocks said. We're out of fucks to give. We don't give any more fucks. Or look, you hate black people and you think they're this, that, and it's not that. I'm like everybody else. Everybody's a little, they're on the spectrum of racism, and you're always profiling. But generally speaking, every normal black person, I'm sure we all see, we're not thinking oh yeah, there's a a bad person. It's just there's a normal person.
Right.
But if it's midnight and there's 6 teenage black kids,
right,
I'm going to the other side of the street because I'm profiling, because I don't know.
Right.
They could be fine. I'm not going to give them the chance. So we all do this. Okay, but it's the cowards that say they don't do it. It's the cowards that say, oh, you're horrible for doing that. And then they move as far the fuck away from the city as possible.
Right.
And they don't go to downtown. I would never go to downtown.
Right.
Well, we're closer to downtown than, like Crazy Mouse and we're fairly close to downtown. Crazy Mouse lives in a mixed neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess all we're saying is don't confuse this 730 whatever. It's probably 750 now. She's on her way to $1 million. She will get it. Don't confuse this with racism.
747. She's at
747.
Right now.
Okay. It's not. There's probably a little racism, but there's a lot of just, thank God somebody said, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Forgiven felon just sent her $20.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I will not chastise anybody for doing that, because it's our way of saying, okay, you guys are going to do this. Saying a word is worse than stabbing a young kid to death, cutting his life short. But saying a word and you're threatening her child, you're threatening her. Fuck no. It's on. And I think that's all people are saying. It's on. Motherfuckers, it's on.
Oy, oy, oy.
It's a lot to unpack, and a lot of people get real sensitive, and it's like I said, it's you can kind of see like, yeah, I understand why this is happening. I see why she needs to do this. And honestly, if she raised more than enough to move, I don't care. Because that kid shanked someone to death, clear as day. It's not even out for, I mean, he did it in front of so many people, but it reminds me too of the O.J. Simpson verdict way back. All of us old heads remember they had the Howard University law school cheering. Mm-hmm. Now I think, you know what? I want to say that might've been ground zero for me, being like, whoa, why are they cheering? Like a woman and a guy are dead.
Right.
And he clearly did it.
And then what did that turn into after that? The riots, how many people got killed there?
Yeah.
Reginald Denning, we saw an aerial view of this guy being yanked out of his semi-truck, bricked.
Yeah.
Just because he's driving down the road.
Yeah. So it's like nobody, to quote Death of a Sales, nobody dashed blame this man, or this, in this case, this woman. And I don't blame her either. Like I said, I would have handled it differently. You know what? I'd have been frustrated and probably just taken the stuff and said, you can't do that, and just left and just be like, come on. But you know what? Maybe she did something as uncouth as it was that needed to be done to kind of ignite this spark, because as far as I can tell, it ain't stopping.
Unpopular opinion, racists aren't emboldened because Trump is in office. Racists are emboldened because they haven't had to swallow their teeth. They can call you hard ER today and get $1 million tomorrow.
And you can stab a white kid to death and get $500,000. Sorry, there's that income inequality there.
Well,
but $500,000 is still a lot.
Right. They'll say the N-word 1,000 times on one song, and then they'll rake in several $1 million off the song.
Remember that one singer who invited that white girl up on stage?
Wasn't that Kendrick Lamar?
Oh, yeah, it was. She gets to the N-word, and she just sings right through it. Whoa, what are you doing? Are you fucking kidding me? We're done with that. I may start using the soft A pretty soon, which I had retired a while ago. I don't fucking care anymore. It's like, who's left to be offended? If you've already admitted you voted for Trump, they already think you're the devil anyway. So who the fuck cares? DB, $2. I hope she gets enough to move to Martha's Vineyard. Yes. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would sign up, to be her bodyguard. And by the way, everybody's saying like, oh, well, yeah, you guys are hypocrites. She's a single mom, and she did say, she's like, I'm not a single mom. She's not married, but she's like, this kid's father is in the picture. Like, we are together. He works very hard to support us.
And it'll all get swept under the rug because they all still have their teeth.
Yeah, well, fuck you, bitch.
Didn't we just see 2 women at the airport there chastising some dude that bought a ticket, was there early, and they were acting horribly? Did they need to taste their teeth?
And if that guy was a brother, are we thinking he would have had as much trouble getting on that flight?
Right.
I'm sorry, but I immediately go to, no, he wouldn't have. They see, oh, we've made it so comfortable for people to dismiss, the evil white man. and for a while, I'm perplexed at the number of white guys that just go along with it. But after a while, I'm like, fuck this, man. Fuck you. You don't like me? I don't fucking care. Seriously, go fuck yourself.
So a white woman defends her child from being bullied in a park, is recorded by a man who was arrested for what? And y'all are outraged at the mom for using a word? Y'all are doxing and threatening a woman because she used a word to the point where she needs to ask for help to relocate her family? And this is the world we live in? A mom defending a word hurts y'all so much. A word that y'all use every day. A word you use in music every day hurts you so much that you decide, a mom defending herself. And then the person that recorded it, where's the parents at to the child? Have they came out? Have they told us why their child was in the park by himself? No. Y'all won't hold that person accountable. Y'all just want the kids to run around and tear shit up. This is what I'm talking about. And I'm glad that white folks see this bullshit and are helping this lady. Let's get at them.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why you can't say like, oh, well, every, black. No, there's plenty of black people that see this and they understand the tiredness that a lot of us have about this. So that's why you can't kind of knee-jerk say, well, it's all X people. No, it's not. Okay, it's just, there's a large segment, and you can kind of see, when they have that attitude. When they open their mouth, you already know, like, I bet you that guy at the ticket counter, he knew as soon as that sister opened her mouth, just by her demeanor, just by the way she opened her mouth, oh, this is going to go horrible.
Right.
People have horror stories of, like these women as like TSA agents or, in line, like just making people dance. We're done. Like I said, we're done with it. This is the guy. Yeah. The charge of GRAP against a 16-year-old was dismissed in the interests of justice. Now, he says that she went back to her foster home. She wanted to play the victim cards, so she could not get into trouble, so she said she was assaulted, later admitted after she ruined our lives. Well, you're the one that stuck your head out and tried to ruin somebody else's life, and that boomeranged back on you, so now people are wondering why you're at a playground. Also, why did a 16-year-old accuse you of picking her up at a Minnesota Quick Trip as she ran away from home? Why are you picking up 16-year-old runaways, you 40-year-old freak? Now people are starting to wonder why you're on a playground. And good, too. I'm glad this stuff boomeranged back on you. Piece of shit. And for those of you that think, oh, it's just a harmless... So harmless. Yep. So harmless. And I ain't trying to pick on here, but you also have to demonstrate, like, all right, come on. This stuff does happen. And you can see why the woman on the playground, that Shiloh, was fucking pissed. She's like, get the fuck out of my stuff. Sorry.
That's just so sad.
Yeah.
That's all.
What you gonna do? So that's what's happening. That's kind of the big thing. And you said she's at like what, 750 Crazy Mouse almost? No?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
740 something.
747.
Yeah. She's gonna get to 1 million. It's gonna happen. And you know what? I'm not gonna shed any tears over that. I ain't going to shed any tears at all. All right. Well,
747K.
Forgive felon. Yep. Forgiven felon. Thank you, buddy. So like I said, you don't have to be rude to people, but this whole white guilt thing has to stop. It's got to stop, or there's going to be that reaction everybody was warning people about. You know, you go too far one direction, there's going to be a correction. It's going to go way far the other way. Well, this is part of that. What does she have to lose? You know, she's white. She's a woman. You know, if she's conservative or, you know, voted for Trump, she already knows these fucking people hate her. You know, she has to, I don't know what that area is like. Have a good dinner, Chris.
Have a good one, Chris.
All right, let's do the normal lunacy here.
I should not have to look this good at 4:30 in the morning, but the Texas government won't stop doing fashy stuff. So I'm gonna go yell at them, and I'm gonna look good doing it.
You know, I don't even know. I'm just
press X to doubt.
Oh gosh, they're not going to take you seriously. You know, if you talk to somebody that you don't like, you're having a grief with, you know, just
being
a clown will not get you heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, great googly moogly, absolutely.
Oof. Yeah, it's societal fatigue. We're getting tired.
I'm going to look good being an absolute fool because I have a stick up my butt because I have time blindness and generational trauma, or whatever the frick's going
blindness.
I like that wink.
Like that little wink there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Winking right at ya.
I will not comply. We will not be silent. The silent riot has begun.
We've heard this before. Come on, feel the noise. Oh, I'm sorry.
Girls, rock boys.
I must be pretty weak-willed because all it took was falling in love with a man, and now I'm like, not really. I mean, I'm a feminist, but like, kind of. I don't really need my maiden name. I don't really need it. I like your last name better anyway. Like, I'll just take that. I know he can do his own laundry. I know that he can clean the house, but I want to do it for him. I want to cook all his meals. I want to make sure he's getting all his whole grains, all his vegetables. I want to make sure he's getting all that protein. He has not asked any of this of me. It just kind of naturally kicks in. Like, these instincts just kind of come out of like, oh, now I have to take care of you when you're sick. Oops, right, I made you breakfast and it fits all of your dietary requirements. My bad. I think I got possessed by a housewife. Is that what happens?
I guess feminism has its limits.
It looks like we rescued one, boys. Good for her. Good for her. Yeah, like I said, I guess nobody's irredeemable.
I got fired for being a woke professor. Let me tell you what happened. I was a professor of communication in a business school. I designed a kick-ass course to teach my 600 students about basic self-awareness, empathy, and essential communication skills.
I feel like there's a hook.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's delve into those first two. Let's more about this self-awareness and empathy, because something tells me that that's probably where the trouble layeth.
For life, but I mean, basically being a good human in the business world. But there were a handful of students who were part of an alt-right student watchdog group, and they
blame the alt-right again. This is what I mean. You give people no fucks to give anymore, and they're gonna take it out on you. So I am so
glad
you
did not want to do that work. They did not want to learn about self-awareness and certainly not empathy. So they complained that I was too woke, that I was pushing a political agenda.
You were. I haven't heard you teach one, syllable, but you looking like that, you be admitting that you're teaching about self-awareness and empathy. You were teaching this bullshit.
Well, what was she supposed to teach?
I guess communications.
Well, she's saying communication and all this other crap.
Communications in business, which is very, I want to say, like, sort of formal.
Right.
You would expect like someone a little more buttoned up. Like,
Right.
okay, when you're communicating, in a corporate setting, let's say, or in a government setting, it is a different animal. you shouldn't probably look like this when you're
went in
doing
droves to complain to the administrators, to parents. Parents started calling, and this is their playbook. They manufacture this outrage. They launched a smear campaign.
Or high school.
It's got to be college. Yeah.
Well, what parent? The part that I'm confused about is the parents are calling. Like,
that's unfortunately, I think that is a bit more common than you might think these days.
Really?
Helicopter.
So like these kids would be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Yes, and the parents are still that involved. Yeah. Yep. Because if you were in high school, you wouldn't call yourself a professor. You'd be a teacher.
Oh, thank you. That's a great point.
Yep. But yeah, no, I can understand the confusion because I probably went through that about a little while ago. Like, wait a minute, well, parents involved? Are we still talking high school here? No, it's just overly like helicopter parents and kids that
maybe it's the Kamala ring in her nose.
Campaign against me, flooded social media with lies, got the media involved. And even though my university had plenty of evidence to refute their claims, they still came.
I love the way how they talk. Refute their claims. You know, like everything she says is like every so many words, it's that pause.
Well, it's effective communication.
Yeah, she's a very effective communicator, Rogan.
As I've mentioned on here before, I'm a single mom raising 2 kids on my own by choice. I had my kids with IVF, so it's just me.
Yeah. Well, she had to tell you though.
We don't need to know that.
Gee, I wonder if that's how if she brought any of that into the classroom, talking about her fucking IVF kids.
Hey, lady, if you want us to listen to you and believe you, don't lay in bed.
Yep. This is someone I would just say you are societally worthless. You are completely worthless to society. There is no use for you. You're not helping like a man. You're not raising a good family. You're a single mom by choice. And you're actually doing a lot of harm with your job. You're probably below worthless to society.
I'm the only one.
You are a drain, as Crazy Mouse would say.
Yes.
You are not a faucet. You are a drain on society.
Who keeps a roof over our head and feeds all of us. And now I was suddenly without a job because these kids didn't want to learn about basic self-awareness and empathy. Not only did I not have a job, but I also was getting targeted by people who had nothing to do with the university, just people from all over the place sending threatening emails, text messages, Facebook message. I mean, every social media. I went dark on social media.
I learned that racism is passed down generationally.
She's a comedian. I've seen her before.
All right, let this one ride out.
Internalized, which makes sense. I was walking home. It was late at night, and this black guy walks towards me. And instinctively, I grab my purse. Even though logically, I know he's not for sale. He did steal my wallet, though.
Tell you, they keep proving me wrong. You know, I used to say like, "There's no funny female comedian." There's more than a few now. Little slice of life here for you guys.
That'll do, pig.
Pet pig. That'll do, pig. Look at that. Consider this one of your palate cleansers.
I do not feel bad.
Oh boy.
For the stupid people here in America. Because, you know what? I lack empathy for them because they lack empathy for me. They lack empathy for my friends. They lack empathy for all the people that are being affected by the current administration. And why do they always say, anytime you try to say something to them, like, oh, isn't it crazy that this and this and this is happening? Like, that's just, it blows my fucking mind. And their answer is always like, well, how do you know that? Because
How do you know that?
What do you mean?
What CNN told you, dummy?
The fact that there's so many fucking stupid people.
So, all these things, they always come back to that. Oh, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. Really? Are we?
And it's only gonna get worse.
We voted for this.
Okay?
We
It's only
voted
gonna
for
get
this.
fucking worse. Ugh.
Wish I could drink those tears. Ryan, $20. Give him something good to eat. Trick or treat, trick or treat.
Dr. Harris. Yes? Do you concur?
I should have concurred.
I should have concurred. Why didn't I concur?
Why didn't I concur? Lovely stream as always. Time for me to sign off, though. Oh, baby number 2 is coming. Oh, my gosh, in the morning.
That's awesome.
Be blessed and remember that Christ overcame the world. Yes, sir. All this nonsense is fleeting. Yes, sir. Even if it feels like bitter dregs at the time. He's sneaking another one in there, I think.
Bitter dregs.
Thank you so much, Ryan. God bless.
Yep.
And
Good
congratulations.
luck.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Hey everybody, Ginger GM here. And I started this whole thing because some people need a white man to acknowledge things for them.
That's how you're starting it off. Some people need a white man to acknowledge things for them. Oh, really? Did you decide that? Piece of shit.
And that is ridiculous, but that's the way of the world.
It's ridiculous, but I'll step up into that. Somebody has to do it. It's ridiculous, but hey, I'll do it.
I have never been more disappointed to be an American.
Oh, brother.
Oi, oi, oi.
Every one of you that supported that man should be ashamed of yourself.
That's me. I did. I'm not ashamed. I'm loving it.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out. What I'm going to say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will.
Welcome to prison.
What do you want to be when you grow up? A PA announcer.
I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are.
Oh, so like you have no worth whatsoever, apparently.
Yeah. Another drain.
We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot. I'm going to take a picture of, and I'm going to keep records of the debt that I have right now, because when the interest rates go up on that, I'm not paying those either, even when they start to meet our
I
demands.
have a feeling you will, though.
Yeah.
Just a hunch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Something tells me.
And the demands are as such. Abolish ICE, okay?
Like for drinks?
Yeah.
Believe she's referring to the border, folks.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I think it's
warm pop for everybody.
Warm pop,
Okay.
yes. Just like in Europe.
I want those men home from El Salvador. I don't care.
No one cares about your age, lady. I mean, honestly, like your friends don't care about your age. They probably didn't even watch this. They're embarrassed for you.
What's a bunch of guys, who are guilty of like sexual assault and all that stuff? I want him here.
I need more OnlyFans.
And we need to protect Medicaid. The Department of Education
She's already
needs
wearing
to
the
be
prison
restored.
stripes.
I want critical race theory in the classroom. Period.
Her hands look like feet.
We need to literally be delusional.
Ooh, yeah, those are.
They look like feet, man.
Yeah. Almost as big as her
Get
mouth.
her some boots.
Yeah.
Delusional. I'm going to be delusional right now. I will stand here right now, be delusional.
Yeah, her hands are really weird. It's like, you know how when you're drawing, people always say drawing hands is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
It's the Seinfeld man hands episode.
That was
Make fun of me all you want.
That wasn't a twist off.
What we need to do. This is what we need to do. And if they don't meet our demands, then what we're going to do is then we're going to stop paying our rent. But for right now, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your debt. We're going to start there.
Oh, God.
And it's like, what the fuck do I have to... Oh, my credit score for the house that I'll never buy? I already am not allowed to rent because I don't make enough money. I have to have a cosigner anyway, so what does my credit score
like an auctioneer.
or even fucking matter? What does
sold?
Does it matter, bro? Literally, what? I want Doge out of office. We're done with him. We're done with him.
Doge is not a man. That's Elon you may be talking about, but all these people. I want government waste.
And free healthcare for all people. I'm so dead serious. Guys, we're done with this.
Yeah, as I've said, do you want to live in serious America or do you want to live in that kind of America? It's a simple question. Listen to that, and if you're like, okay, yeah, I'm down with that, I'll vote however she wants, then you're a clown. You're an absolute clown. And I will shake my head and I may say, what a shame. But you can't say you're a serious person if you support that stuff.
Well, I would hate to have her as a neighbor. She's probably an absolute nightmare, regardless of what you believe in.
She probably like has that tone even when she's like normal.
Yeah.
She probably gets like, whoa, 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 don't be so angry. She's like, no, that's just my normal voice. It's my this is the way I talk. From the dregs to the brim. Look at this. Look at this girl. Greets her man like every woman should. Is like that's all like take your average man, that's all he would want.
Yes.
And it's like it's not like, oh, it's demeaning to the woman. How? Like she clearly is with someone she loves.
They look very happy. They both look very happy.
I'm telling you right now, I mean, he's probably giving her the life she's dreamed of.
Yes. Yeah. And so many of these women, like I saw somebody, I think it was that Cody Sanchez. She was talking to somebody like on her podcast or whatever. And she's like, what's going on with women? Why are they so miserable these days? And this guy's like, he's like, well, for a lot of time, you know, we thought men were getting happier and women were just kind of coming down. He's like, that's not true. He's like, women are just coming down to the level of that men were at for a long time. He's just like, it's this bill of goods they've been sold where you're going to be happier being in a 9-to-5 job. For sure.
Just remember, people got so upset at the Chiefs kicker. You know, I'd say his name Harrison Butker, but people might not know who that is. Mm-hmm. And all he said is the biggest accomplishment these women are going to have is like to be a mom.
Yeah.
And people were so like outraged at that. And I bet if you just asked, like, are you more proud of your senior thesis or raising 3 great children? Oh, my thesis, obviously. I can't stand my, you know, like. Mm-hmm. Right. People are so outraged at what he said, but it's true.
It's 100% true.
It's
a great point.
A long time ago about Derek, our middle child. He became potty trained, and I made a comment, and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's like the biggest accomplishment he'll ever have." And people were like, "Oh my God, how could you possibly say that?" I said, "Well, unless he cures cancer or something, but like." Being potty trained is such a huge compliment that people don't believe it. And I said, think of it from a different point of view. If you were up front in charge of a grocery store, but you walked around because you pooped your pants all fucking day long, who's going to take you serious?
This is true.
If your teacher in front of a class of your students and you peed your pants while you're talking to them, no one's going to take you serious. Being potty trained is a huge accomplishment. That's all I was saying. And people were like, that's a ridiculous statement.
I'll expound on that in a moment. Snake O'Shawn over on Rumble for $10. Give him something. He earns it.
Yeah, let's find him something.
Cock is pretty good.
Now, come on. He was asking for a palate cleanser.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
That's
right.
there you go. Well, hopefully that girl showing up for her guy every day was the palate cleanser you were asking for there, Sean. You guys may think, like, oh, well, you know, what's so special about being potty trained? Mrs. D is a teacher. After COVID, she had kids who had trouble going up and down steps. Now think of that for a moment. Like they didn't quite know how to master stairs.
I believe that.
Yeah, telling her like, oh, well, it's easy going up, but it's kind of hard to go down. These are 10-year-olds. These are 5th graders. I mean, I'm sure most of the chat, they're around our age. Think about what you guys were doing in 5th grade. All you Gen Xers out there.
We're doing the stairs up to the roof and trying not to jump off.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. There you go, JP. Yep. Every time you don't shit your pants, it's a good day.
That out. Nixon agrees with me.
No, and like I said, it is true. But it goes to show that the little things that turn into they can be big things that a mom does. Those are the most important. Look, I work in a big corporation. So does Rogan. He's blue collar, I'm white collar. I'm under no illusion how important my work is. In fact, they always, it's your career. And I've always nodded politely. And then I've always kind of told the people around me, it's really just kind of a job. I do it to the best of your ability. Put in the extra work if you need to, but don't ever lose sight of the fact that the most important stuff is not that. It's with your family. It's with your friends. And all the other stuff outside of work. Because I've seen people that retire that, oh man, we're really going to feel it when this person retires. They're retired for 3 months and their name is never brought up again.
Right.
And I'm not even exaggerating there. And I'll point that out to people. Oh, do you remember so-and-so? Oh yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, he was great. I'm like, yeah, everybody thought he was irreplaceable.
I know.
You have completely forgotten about him. And I'm under no illusion that when I walk out that door on my final day at my job, they're going to forget about me too. But I'm at peace with that. I'm good with that because it's just a transaction. I show up, I do my job, I collect a paycheck, and and we're good at the end of the week.
Don Draper said it.
Yeah, that's what the money's for.
Never say thank you. That's what the money is for.
Yeah. As I think Jack Welch at GE said, at the end of the week, we're square.
Right.
Sorry. But women especially have just been sold this bill of goods, and it's not saying like, oh, women should never work. No, that's not the point. It's just that women who raise families should never feel less than because they didn't choose the career path because they're doing stuff that's just as important, and I would argue more important, because they're helping to raise the next generation. Where are we if we don't have another generation coming up?
You're going to retire. I'm going to retire sometime, and you're 100% right. They're not going to remember you after a little while. They're not. No one's going to remember me. No.
That's why people go and shoot shit up.
Yes,
so they will be remembered.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They want to be
opposite.
Yeah, they want to be remembered for all the wrong reasons.
But my legacy, your legacy is what I build. I got the 4 remarkable children.
Yeah.
And when it's my time to go, I'm really good with that. Because they're going to have children, and it's like it's not all on me. They're a part of a bigger cycle, but I did my job.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. I tell you what, if you raise 2 kids, you did your job. If they're not leeches, like some of the people we look in these mashups, you've done your job. I mean, you're keeping the population afloat.
Damn.
Ooh, too bad. Yeah, there you go.
OGG.
Wow. Love it. That's a go-getter there.
Who wants to tell MAGA that they're not up against liberals and Dems anymore? They're up against everyone. Vets, boomers, Republicans, conservatives.
Put your hairy armpit
Everyone
away.
hates you. The whole class. The whole class hates you.
Is there another one laying down? Why?
Yeah. It's just a TikTok. I think it's a TikTok.
That's
it's a
sort of like the pose from Titanic.
Honey, you ain't no
I want you to draw me like one of your French girls.
Yeah. Somewhere there's her Jack out there. Probably wanting to blow his brains out.
Don't think you people understand what's going to fucking happen to us. 50 fucking % tariffs on China. Do you know how much fucking shit we get from China?
That is a tough face. I will say. I don't.
That is difficult to look at.
Hey, with the Titanic theme,
my armpit hair will go on. Good one. Yeah, that is frightening looking.
Oh
there.
my god! Yeah,
it's
more than
weird,
absolutely more than crazy eyes.
The teeth, the eyes. You get in the whole 9 yards with her.
I'm already fucking broke! Fuck you! Fuck you! Oh, the economy's gonna get better! Fuck! Yeah!
It will.
Oh man! Holy cow! She looked like a baboon waiting to attack.
What did they do to women like that in the 20s?
Yeah, put her in an asylum.
Absolutely.
Put her on laudanum. 100 men versus this chick.
Oh, wow. Boy. Or 100 gorillas versus
100 gorillas versus her, yeah.
She goes through the men like no problem.
I love how they talk about the economy. Like, the market's crashing.
She looked like somebody from our past. And I'll tell you off air,
okay. All right.
In case this person ever listens.
Yeah. People like talk about like this. The market they tank because of the tariffs. The market is right back where it was mostly from like when Trump announced all these tariffs. And by the way, I hope you guys follow my Twitter account because in early April, I made a tweet or a post.
We were waiting.
I said, hey kids, would you like to earn a free 10 to 20% on your money? Invest in the S&P right now. Be willing to wait 3 to 6 months. I said there's a good chance it'll be a lot less. Outside chance it'll be a year. You'll get 10 to 20% on your money. Not even a month later, we're back to where we were. Gee, and Double D somehow made that post at the exact low. So if you listened to me back then and put some money in the S&P, guess what? You're up 11% right now. Keep holding on for more. You're welcome. It's not just our knowledge, our wit you get here, but you get some of Double D's financial wisdom if you follow me on Twitter at Wee Wheaton. I'm just saying. When people are panicking, that's when you buy. That's why you always...
Stocks are on sale.
Yeah, stocks are on sale. I'm like... You absolute retards will scream at Trump. You'll curse out rich people. It never occurs to you to do the things that rich people do, to buy stocks when they're on sale. You should be thanking Trump. He gave you an opportunity. I recognized it immediately.
There was the theory about that he tanked the market on purpose so that the common man could invest in these stocks that they thought that they couldn't afford, and now all those stocks are back up.
Yeah. I mean, if
it's a theory,
it's a theory. It works. If you recognize it, you do have to have a little bit of financial literacy, or at least know somebody who does. That would be me. It's very easy.
It was like all the major you could go buy like Meta crashed, right? And you could
everything
go buy Meta.
Yeah,
right.
everything was down.
And you could buy all
Mm-hmm.
these stocks that are, great investments. And again, it's just a theory. I always say, if my wife is Democrat and Double D is very Republican, and I said, I wish that there was most of what Double D says is true. Most of what my wife says is true. But there's that, I get information from Double D that is very pro-Republican and information from my wife that's very pro-Democrat. I'm like, I wish there was that honest middle ground that just told it without their own political agenda involved. And I don't know who that would be.
No, it doesn't really exist in great numbers right now. Maybe it'll come back. It's just we're so polarized right now. Each side sees itself as the antithesis of the other. In some ways, the savior. And look, I would argue all these people that you're seeing here, all these people we all agree are lunatics. They ain't Trump voters. So I would say I don't think there's a bevy of these videos out there of, even after Trump lost in 2020, I don't think there's a lot of these type of videos of like Trump supporters freaking out. A lot of them just went, well, that sucks. Guess we got to do our best next time. Some of these folks are crazy.
Trump, this is going out to you, you punk ass bitch. because that's what you are. This whole country knows it. Now you're arresting little kids because they don't have papers?
What's he wrestles them?
I think he said arrest, but I like that.
He said arrested?
Yeah.
I thought he said he wrestled little kids.
Now you wrestle little kids because they don't have
You little
papers.
rascal. How'd you make it into the Oval Office?
Like this is what we're talking about. Like
if you put this dude in orange, he looks like the fish guy.
The Gordon's fisherman guy.
And the parents are trying to get the birth certificates to prove that they're from this country, and you guys are just arresting them? Fuck the police.
Always welcome here, even though you're anti-Trump, Rich. Yes. Thank you very much.
Don't approach me, any police, because I'm done with the police. I'm done with Trump's administration, because that's bullshit.
I got cod. I got
Trump can have little kids arrested and deported.
Remember when Arya was down on the dock? Clams, cockles, and mussels, or whatever she was yapping about. That's this guy.
When they've lived here all their lives, and their parents documented people that live in this country, and you're arresting their children, come after my term to see what the fuck happens, Trump administration.
I should not have to.
Oh,
oh boy.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done. We're done.
I thought we were getting a winking.
I do have one more here.
We tend to think of the paradigm of yesterday. So first we would say
our friends at the World Economic Forum. I say that tongue firmly in cheek. These are the people that want you to eat the bugs. So listen to what this chick is talking about.
Here's a car. Let's put an electric engine into it. Oh, let's make this car self-driving. But if it's the same car in a road that is completely congested, it doesn't matter whether this car is autonomous or electric or whatever, you still don't get anywhere. You just get stuck in traffic. So this is why we talk about mobility, because actually, if you can get people to share a car, you can take out, a lot of cars in the streets. I think it's Singapore where they looked at how they could bring it down to about 40% of the cars if we would use them smarter. And the interesting thing about technology is that it makes sharing easy and fun and not annoying. It used to be a little bit...
It's like the new player's handbook, fun.
Yeah. Fun is overrated.
Difficult to share. You would have to go in somewhere in the other end of town and get a key. And that's not what you want to do if you want to take your car. But if you can just use your neighbor's car because you have a smartphone and an app and you don't even need to know the neighbor to get into his car, or if you can find ways of carpooling, and this is what technology helps you do, it's much easier and much more fun to share. And you start then thinking completely different about transport and traffic. And I think it's very important that we do not just try to fix yesterday's paradigm, but think about how do we want a city to move.
Yeah, you will own nothing and like it, as they say.
Do you remember in Beverly Hills Cop when Axel is with his friend Jenny and they're walking in the street and they walk up to her red convertible and he says, "Is this your car?" And she goes, "No, Axel, here we just drive whichever one's closest."
Yes. These people took that and ran with it. That's their whole philosophy. Yeah, you'll own nothing and like it. Interesting thing, though, something tells me people like her, all the high-ups, they're not using their neighbors' cars, are they?
No.
They get all the special cars, don't they?
Hey, I'm still waiting we were promised jetpacks.
Yeah.
When I was in grade school, they said there was going to be jetpacks.
Too bad for the environment.
Yeah,
They're off the list, yeah. These people are horrible. If I keep saying, if somebody blew up the World Economic Forum outside of their own family...
Is that who?
What's that?
Is that who?
No, that's the World Health Organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are like essentially like the global. They want like one world government. Yeah. Like no nation states. Essentially, it's like communism. They run everything, like a small percentage, and it's not even like a conspiracy theory. Like they've pretty much outright admitted it would be better for the world if this was the case. So you, Crazy Mouse, can no longer do the job that you like doing.
Yeah.
You have to share your car. Or pay an exorbitant tax.
I have a big order. Where's my car? Oh, Jerry next door.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, he's out fucking around, cruising the dock.
I can't. Hey, we went to Warzone Matrix, had a great time, listening to the podcast and stuff like that, enjoying that. And that's absolutely fantastic. But every day I'm going back to work. I want to listen to my music, and I don't want to worry about no disrespect to anybody in the world, but
you want to do your own thing.
This is my own thing. I formulate myself.
Your car, your radio, or whatever. I
don't want to listen to someone else's crap.
Yep. Yeah. These people they're pod people. They're bug people. They're the worst people in the world.
They were never.
You've heard me say before, I can tell instantly if it's a hero or a zero. And I think what you've got here is a hero. No offense, Damon. I don't need you.
You don't.
My offer is $100,000 for 30%. I will get you into infomercial right away, and I'm pretty confident that we could get this into all retail stores across the country within literally weeks. I'll make you a millionaire within a year.
When I did my deal with Lori, we only had about $100,000 in retail sales, and now we've broken off.
I heard that Scrub Daddy is the best profit or best deal ever. We just became a Scrub Daddy family by mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you how it happened. I was shopping for a customer at Walmart, and he wanted a 2-sided scrub sponge, and they were out of them. So I got him a Scrub Daddy and a Scrub Mommy as a replacement. When I got to their house, they said they didn't want them. And I, all that stuff I'm supposed to take back to the store, but I'm not going to go back special for that. So I said, I'll donate these to my house. Well, anyway, Sophia Mouse, who does our cleaning in our kitchen, she used it and she's like, I love it. So I said, all right,
nice.
We're a Scrub Daddy house now.
We've been using them for a little while too.
I love these stories. I'm happy for this guy. Of course, this is his dream. Good product. Good to hear. Yeah. But I'm not afraid of rich people. I love that Lori being like, yeah, I'll give you $100,000 for 30% of your company. Well, if she has 30% of this company right now, do the math. What's 30% of 300 million? Okay, that's why you shouldn't be talking about how much you hate rich people, how much more they need to pay. You should spend your time figuring out what they're doing, how you can apply that to your life. Like last week, we talked about that Cody Sanchez. Just look at her videos. Like, it isn't all about, like, obviously you need like a lot of money to, be in the Shark Tank and all that stuff, to be on that side. But like, she just talks about being like a Main Street millionaire, like buying local businesses and like turning it around and doing shit like that. Just don't ever fall into this. That's for rich people. Man, that talk is for losers.
$141 million.
The other one that's super popular is Ring Doorbell was the other one.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize they were Shark Tank. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they got bought out by Amazon.
Everyone passed on it.
Oh, everybody passed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they miss. People always talking. I know Mark Cuban's successful. All that. I remember Mark Cuban plain as day, like back in the day, talking about like YouTube. Like, how's that going to work? He's like, I wouldn't touch YouTube. I wouldn't touch it at all. How are you gonna keep people from playing, copyrighted materials? He didn't have the vision back then to realize maybe there will be a way to do that.
He's worth more than all the other sharks combined.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just saying he ain't perfect.
He has some misses.
Yeah,
right?
He has some misses. They all do. Every rich person has a lot of misses, and that's
my
how
favorite
that's how they learn.
Shark Tank thing is the tree TP, the farmer. If anybody's ever seen that one,
I have not.
Not familiar.
Yeah, that's the one. Is my favorite.
Okay.
The tree,
I'll look it up.
Tree TP.
Tree TP. Okay.
I'm not sure what he's doing out there. It looks like he's going to burn a flag, and Rick Monday runs and takes it away from him. And so Monday, I think a guy was going to set fire to the American flag. Can you imagine that? Well, they better lose him in a hurry. And Monday, when he realized what he was going to do, raced over and took the flag away from him.
What do you think they do in California now if somebody got on the field and tried to burn a flag?
You'd get fined for grabbing the flag.
Yeah, I was going to say the fans would be cheering the guy burning the flag. If one of the players did what Rick Monday did, they'd probably boo him. God bless Rick Monday. The Penguin, Ron Say. Steve Garvey.
Bill Russell.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping
Oh,
folks.
is this that girl?
It's Jasmine.
Is that our next president?
That's right. Look at the stretch she goes to here. She's talking about us, like sending people back to their own countries. At the end, she'll say something that'll just make you scratch your head. So listen close.
And you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country?
You mean like happened the last 4 years and is always happening when there's a Democrat administration? That's all they do is throw their people at us.
Like that is absolutely insane. So yes, all I got to say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But
would you want like all right, so that's the great
That's
hope.
some people want her.
Yeah.
Don't talk Ebonics. You have a position of some sort of political power. Don't talk y'all.
They say she's like, oh, she's educated. She just kind of talks down like that to kind of, I guess, talk to her base, so to speak. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Your civil right. You don't have any civil rights. I mean, the government can't, of course, they can't kill you. They can find you and send you back. That is your due process. Oh, you're not a citizen here? We're gonna give you a plane ticket back to your country. But you have to understand there's people that don't like this country anymore. And they want to see it fail. So it's really, it's like a rowboat, and half the country wants to row and the other half is either not rowing or rowing against.
Straight out of Compton is a brother that'll smother your mother and make your sister think I love her. Dangerous motherfucker raising hell, and if I ever get caught,
It took me a while first. That, of course, is Biden. That's Obama as street bums.
bail. See, I don't give a fuck. That's the problem. I see a motherfucking cop, I don't dodge him, but I'm smart, lay low, breathe a while, and when I see the punk pass, I smile. To me, it's kind of funny. The attitude showing nigga driving, but don't know where the fuck he go.
What did he say? Did he say a bad word?
To some.
I'm just so desensitized to it.
Okay, we need to find this person. Hold on, we got to find this person. We got to hunt him down. We got to what? What do we got to do? We got to knock his teeth out. Was that one of them?
We dox him.
Does he have kids? Yeah, we got to dox him. We got to find his kids, take care of them, right? I mean, that's what we do when we hear that word, right?
Just rolling, looking for the one they call easy, but here's a flash that never sees me, ruthless.
Love it. Last one. Then we'll do the quick little live play. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
Get your hand on my motherfucking face. Let's go. Get your hand on my motherfucking face. Okay. And get back to work.
Where do you see this
Get your
guy?
hand on my motherfucking face. Listen. Now.
Cross the line.
I didn't. You crossed the line. You crossed the line. You crossed the line. No, stop. No, you crossed it. You crossed it. You crossed it. What's up? What's up?
Take the wallet and drag him out the store.
Look at that face. I bet you didn't think that was the face you were seeing. He's got earrings, eyeshadow.
Stop. No. What's up? What's up? No, Daddy, stop. I'm not playing with you. What's up?
All right.
You crossed the line.
I told you. You couldn't fucking drink and hit
Oh, no, you didn't tell me nothing.
That was the
You
end
told
of
me to
it.
leave.
This poor McDonald's managers just had it.
And you came over there and you interrupted me while my meal. You didn't ask me to stop smoking. You didn't ask me to stop drinking. You didn't ask me to do shit. You didn't ask me to do shit. You asked me to leave.
Did you
didn't
call
ask
the
me to
police?
stop smoking.
Did you call the police?
You didn't.
All right.
Call the police. It recorded. No, recorded. You never asked me to stop smoking. You never asked me to stop smoking.
Get the
You never asked me to stop
Get the
smoking. You're not going to put my hand in my face. You're not going to touch me. And you're not going to touch me.
You get
Period.
You
Just
get
go.
in
And
my
they're going to
face.
touch everybody. You go. You got to do the things first.
Excuse me.
You go, baby. Go, no.
I
You
can't
go
believe
here.
how many people in the world want to get punched in
I
the
don't know
head.
why the fuck y'all think
I don't know why the fuck you think I'm scared of you.
No.
Nigga, go on. Don't let the pretty shit fool you, nigga. Don't let the pretty shit fool you.
Oh,
What did he say?
Nigga now.
Yeah.
Punk ass. You a punk ass.
See, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but that right there is a product of a single mom, no dad, and no spankings.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, yes. Future astronaut, yeah. Yeah, a lot of axing there. He wants to axe a few questions. Chop them down. Yeah, falling down, walks up from behind. Oh, why am I interrupted? I'm just here for the win.
That's awesome.
Thing is, we talk about it. I didn't see that, but a couple weeks ago, I went to McDonald's after the show. There was a group of teen kids. It was mostly white kids, and then there was one brother kid in there, and he was like probably 6'5", 300 pounds, a lot of it muscle. He was acting like a clown, and the kids with him were, they were encouraging him because obviously he was the alpha dog of that group. But just they were like making life for like a woman who was just enjoying her food behind, like kind of miserable. And I'm like, Double D, don't, I'm like, should I do it? I think the woman just finally got up and left before I was like decided like I was going to politely ask them to stop, but just why? Why is it always like this? I don't know. Oh, well. I hope you enjoyed the regular show. We'll do a little bit of O&R here.
A little.
Oh yeah, you got to go. Do you want to? You got to go. We can save it till next week if you. Don't be afraid to. It's okay.
We're gonna do a good job moving forward on trimming the show, fans, so that.
Well, we'll try to be done by 9:30ish.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we'll try to be done by 9:30. All right, yeah.
Maybe Garibay put us a little over today.
He did. Yeah. It was a long. Yeah.
But it was all gold though.
Yeah.
It was.
All right. We'll save O&R. We'll do a little extra O&R. As Crazy Mouse says, he'll keep us on task.
I'm just as guilty. I go off on some tangents.
Oh yeah. And like I said, it's only ever meant to be a bonus anyway. So look, if the flow of the show is going right, then we'll keep going with it. We'll just kick it down. But yeah, we'll do it next week. Okay, guys. I believe that is it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Your name is Toby.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for showing up, always being here.
Everybody tonight.
Absolutely.
Yep. All of you guys, all the super chats,
the gift subscriptions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very generous.
Yep.
And hilarious.
Yeah, as always. Yeah. That's why we keep coming back, guys. If you keep showing up, keeping us laughing, we're gonna keep showing up too. I'll try to keep interesting things for us to talk about. Like I said, ain't all gonna be home runs. Sometimes it'll be a nice little soft single.
Ain't nothing wrong with a C&I single.
Yep. Thank you all. Great episode. All right, we'll take it. H squared. Good to see you here, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Sean, Surly, DB, everybody, all you guys.
Hit the like on your way out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess because we no O&R, I'll give you a little something. Should we give him a little Marisha Ray?
Why not? She was the star of the show. Give us a die 4.
Yeah, here's
It's just a white die 4 with green.
Here's your white die 4
with green. What color is her bikini? Isn't it blue though?
It's blue. It's blue. Yeah. If only it was green, that would be. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Like I said, I meant to do a stream this past weekend, guys. I'm busy, and I will tell you, I am busy writing. The tale is growing in its telling for the adventure, so it's good stuff. So I'm excited. I'm jazzed. It is
H
going
squared
right.
ass.
There you go. All right, we'll do it. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. We'll talk to you all very soon. For Crazy Mouse and Rogan, this is
Good night, all.
Double D.
Good night, everybody.
Signing off. Peace.